Chapter 1372. If that's the case, then we have nothing to say. Since Yang Kun had already put it this way, what else could they say? However, they had a new understanding of Yang Kun's ruthlessness. After all, he was the one who organized this operation. Now, those people were just cannon fodder. TSK, they couldn't afford to offend someone like him. They might even be killed without knowing what happened. Alright, since that's the case, let's wait and see. After that, no one said anything else. A dozen people arrived at the Xuanzong Sect's entrance. Their mouths twitched when they heard the sect's words. Damn, this sect is too domineering. The man couldn't help thinking about his own sect. Compared to this sect, it was simply on a completely different level. Sect Master, that's not the main point. The main point is that we're here to cause trouble. If the other sects hear about this, they'll laugh at us, someone reminded from behind. That's right. He returned to his senses and looked at the person who reminded him with admiration. Go and call the sect. Yes, Sect Master. Receiving the order, the man came to the sect's entrance and raised his hand to attack the door frame. Rumble. Suddenly, the palm fell and a rumbling sound echoed. Following the rumbling sound was a man's voice. Where's the Xuanzong sect? You're pretty good. My Kueishui sect is here. Come out and accept your death. When the other sects heard this, they were speechless. Was this guy an idiot? Although he was here to kill, the way he challenged him and his tone was really unbearable to the ears. Naturally, no one was too conflicted about it. In their eyes, the Kueishui sect was just cannon fodder. They were just trying to test the Xuanzong sect. Whoosh! Not long after the Kueishui sect's challenge, an indifferent voice rang out from the Xuanzong sect. Humph, how impressive. Now, any trash sect can come to my Xuanzong sect to cause trouble. I really don't know how your Kueishui sect survived until now. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Yun's silhouette walked out of the profound sect. His silhouette landed in everyone's line of sight. This brat's cultivation, half-step saint? What the F***ck, are they trying to do something? Is the Xuanzong sect overconfident or, are they looking down on the Kueishui sect? When the sects saw Lin Yun's cultivation, they began to discuss among themselves. Facing the attitude of the surrounding sects, the faces of the people of Kueishui sect were gloomy like water. He admitted that although the Kueishui sect was at the bottom of the rankings, they still had 7 saints. Although there were no earth saints, they still had saints. What was the situation now? A half-saint? Looking down on their Kuei water sect? For a moment, the sect master of the Kueishui sect, Kuei Long, felt unhappy. Especially when he saw Lin Yun, killing intent surged in his heart. Go, kill him for me. With that thought in mind, he waved his hand and ordered one of the sages behind him. Yes, sect master. When the old man received the order, he walked out and looked at Lin Yun with disdain in his eyes. Brat, don't blame me for courting death. Who asked you to be a member of the Xuanzong sect? As he spoke, he circulated his cultivation and slapped Lin Rei. In his opinion, one slap was more than enough to deal with Lin Yun. Bang! A loud explosion rang out and a cloud of dust flew into the air, covering Lin Yun's original location. TSK, trash, you still have the nerve to come out. Looking at the dust, Kuei Long said with disdain. His face was full of pride. Not only did he feel good, but it was also a warning to the surrounding sections. However, just as everyone was feeling proud, a sigh rang out. TSK, I really don't know if you're arrogant or what, humph. What? This is, Kuei Long and the Dao Fruit Realm Saint were shocked. They were very familiar with this voice. Wasn't this the person they had just slapped to death? However, at this moment, Lin Yun's figure appeared behind the Dao Fruit Realm Saint. And, I really don't know how trash like you can live until now. Moreover, you have the courage to come to my Xuanzong sect and cause a ruckus. The old man was shocked. He turned around and saw Mao Xing's figure. He didn't know when Mao Xing had appeared, but the old man was terrified when he saw Mao Xing's killing intent. This feeling had not appeared in a long time. He even felt that the one staring at him was not a human, but a beast about to hunt. Clang! The sound of a spear rang out. Lin Yun was staring at the old man with a bloodthirsty smile. Next, it's my turn. This time, he wanted to intimidate everyone present. The Xuanzong sect was not a sect that anyone could bully. Martial god stratagem, stacked kill. Suddenly, the spear pierced towards the old man. The spear was so fast that it left people speechless. Of course, the old man was not to be trifled with. After all, he was a Dao Fruit Realm saint. When he saw the spear rushing towards him, he tilted his head and dodged it. Humph, is that all you've got? He looked at Lin Rei with disdain. However, Lin Yun's expression puzzled the old man. At this moment, Lin Yun was not shocked or unwilling. He only sneered and looked down on him. How, hiss, no, you, seeing the old man's shocked expression, Lin Yun sneered. Did you feel it? Humph, unfortunately, it's too late. Spatial stacked kill. Suddenly, Lin Yun used the martial god stratagem to its fullest. The space around the tip of the spear began to overlap, and the old man's body began to bend uncontrollably. What's going on? How could my... The old man wanted to resist, but unfortunately, what awaited him was his uncontrollable cultivation. It was as if a force had been activated, refining the Dao fruit seal. This is the price you have to pay for offending my Xuanzong sect. After saying that, Lin Yun used all his strength. Under his control, the stratagem of martial god's lethality was unprecedented. If Ruo Lin Lei was here, he would definitely be gratified to see such an outstanding person. Fold it for me. With a furious roar, the speed at which the space overlapped became faster and faster. In just an instant, the entire space overlapped. As for the old man, he didn't even let out a scream. With a terrified and unwilling expression, he disappeared into the long river of the world. Damn, it's true. The stratagem of martial god can't be used casually. Lin Yun smiled bitterly when he felt that 2/3 of the spiritual energy in his body had disappeared. However, when he thought that it was enough for him to show off, he returned to the sect's formation. He looked at the people outside with killing intent. This is the result of offending my Xuanzong sect. As for your Kuei sect, you are just a testing stone brought by them. Do you really think that you are so important and awesome? Ridiculous. Chapter 1373. Kuei Long was enraged by Lin Yun's words. Although Lin Yun was right, he couldn't do anything in front of so many sections. Charge. As long as you kill this ant, I'll give him the position of an elder, 1,000,000 mid-grade nether jades, and make him my daughter. As the saying went, a generous reward would attract brave men. Furthermore, as a member of the sect, everyone knew that Kuei Long had a beautiful daughter with a seductive figure. Furthermore, if Lin Yun could become an elder of the sect, his status in the future would be unimaginable. Adding on the fact that he was the son-in-law of the sect master, he would be able to do whatever he wanted in the Kuei Water sect. For a moment, everyone from the Kuei Water sect charged forward. It was as if they were injected with chicken blood as they circulated their cultivation and charged at Lin Yun. Her resolute gaze and fiery expression made Lin Yun's heart go numb. Bam, bam, bam. What's going on? Kuei Long was stunned, everyone else was stunned, and all the sect masters and elders were stunned. Only Lin Yun was looking at the clowns in front of him with a calm expression. Before Lin Rei left, he said that the sect's sect guardian array was of a very high grade and could withstand the attack of an earth saint. However, in his mind, this formation was unworthy of his father, Lin Li. In reality, with Lin Li's current level, although he could also set up a formation that could block earth sage cultivators, this kind of formation would only be able to block a few attacks before it lost its effect. Before leaving, Linley had steeled his heart and gritted his teeth as he purchased this protective formation from the system. At that time, Linley's heart had been bleeding. For this array, he had spent nearly 100 million exchange points, which almost made him faint from the heartache. Fortunately, however, the formation had taken effect. If Linley had known that the formation would have such an effect, perhaps he would have rejoiced at the wise decision he had made. Unfortunately, Lin Ray was unaware of all of this. At this moment, Lin Ray was still wandering in the Netherworld's Dragon Spring adversity. Seeing that everyone was blocked so quickly, Lin Yun regained his confidence. He flashed a middle finger at everyone and made a disdainful gesture. "Ants, didn't you have a lot of fun scolding me? What's wrong now? Come on, why don't you scold me again?" As he spoke, he picked up a stone from somewhere and flicked a finger at Kuei Long, similar to the spirit flicking divine ability. Swoosh! A stream of light shot out, catching Kuei Long and the others off guard. The stone accurately hit Kuei Long's head. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. Kuei Long's head had been hit by a stone, causing his head to tilt back. Sect leader. Sect master. Seeing Kuei Long like this, the surrounding people surrounded him and asked with concern. However, this made Kuei Long feel embarrassed. Scram! Scram! You've embarrassed me again and again today. Do you really think I'm easy to bully? Kuei Long endured the pain from his head and looked at Lin Ray. His eyes were burning with anger, as if he wanted to burn Lin Ray to ashes. Continue. Isn't it just an array? I don't believe that the Xuanzong sect has so many things to maintain the array. As he spoke, he took the lead and punched at Lin Yun with all his strength. Bang! Kuei Long's hand stopped in midair and a transparent barrier appeared in the air. After a series of ripples, the barrier returned to normal. Continue. Don't stop until you break it. As he spoke, he took a step back. His hand, which was originally on the array formation, was withdrawn without anyone noticing. Then, he curled it up in his sleeve. Although his expression was calm, he was feeling bitter in his heart. Earlier, he had used up all of his strength in that punch. However, in the end, he only felt pain. Endless pain. It was as if his strength had been reflected back at him. Bang! 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 Just like this, a series of muffled sounds rang out. All the Kuei Water Sect cultivators started to bombard the formation without any restrictions, as if they didn't care about their lives. Lin Yun shook his head. He didn't expect that others would treat them as fools, but they were willing to be fools. Since that was the case, he had nothing to say. As for the array, he didn't believe that these fellows, who had piled up elixirs and spiritual stones, could break the array. As he thought about it, a smile appeared on his face. He glanced into the distance before turning around and leaving. Children, I'll be waiting for you inside. I hope you don't disappoint me. You must work hard. Don't give up. After that, he disappeared in front of everyone. But at this moment, the Kuei Water Sect's cultivators, who were bombarding the array like crazy, stopped. All of them looked at each other, looking hesitant and indecisive. Junior brother Long, why don't you take the lead first? After all, you're a junior, right? No, senior brother Lu, as a senior, you should take the lead. You should go first. You do it. No, how can we do this? Let senior brother go first. Just like that. Everyone was shouting at each other. In the end, a simple and honest man took the lead. Looking at everyone, the man bowed to Kuei Long and said, Master, since all the junior brothers can do this, then this disciple can't fall behind. For this matter, I think only Master can go first. Kuei Long was speechless. Looking at this eldest disciple, it was fortunate that he knew his temperament. Otherwise, he would think that he was doing it on purpose. Thinking about it, he became angrier. He looked at everyone and snorted. Second brother, C, and sixth brother, you three go first. Remember, you have to use your strength. Otherwise, when you return to the sect, you will reflect on your mistakes for 50 years. You won't be able to take a step out of the reflection cliff for 50 years. Hearing this, the three of them were stunned. They smiled bitterly and nodded. They couldn't go against Kuei Long's orders. In the end, they could only endure Lin Yun's words and put out their fists. With a bang, a fist punched out. In the end, everyone had a demonstration, so there was nothing else to do. One by one, they charged forward and launched another round of attacks. But the array in front of them seemed to have inexhaustible energy. It was the same as before. There was no change. Master, what do you think we should do? The eldest disciple couldn't help asking. Sigh. He sighed and rolled his eyes at his eldest disciple. Shaking his head helplessly, he said, we can't do it. A day has already passed, but this formation doesn't show any signs of weakening. It seems that we can only find a formation expert to break it. Otherwise, not to mention us, even those people behind us who want to be the Oriole behind us won't be able to enter in this lifetime. Chapter 1374. Lu Huai, go to the Array Guild and invite an Array Master over. I don't believe that an Array Master won't be able to break this formation. Kuei Long made up his mind. This time, no matter the price, he must kill that person. Otherwise, his reputation would be ruined. However, Lu Huai did not move after Kuei Long said that. Instead, he looked at the crowd with a troubled expression as if he was asking for help. Looking at Lu Huai, Kuei Long snorted, why? Are you not going to listen to me? With a plop, Lu Huai knelt on the ground and kowtowed repeatedly, Master, it's not that I don't want to go, it's... Before Lu Huai could speak, the crowd felt awkward as if they knew what Lu Huai was going to say next. However, Kuei Long was the only one who did not know. He forced Lu Huai to speak, what is it? Moss. Master. Lu Huai raised his head and looked at Kuei Long gathering his courage, he said, it's like this. Master, you have to pay a huge price to invite someone from the Array Guild. The price of inviting someone from the Array Guild will be even higher. Normally, they will need to pay 7 million mid-grade netherworld jades to activate a formation. It's the same for setting up or breaking a formation. Moreover, the Array Master will charge according to the strength of the formation. Do you think our sect has that much netherworld jades to invite an Array Master? Hearing that, the crowd including Lu Huai lowered their heads. Their faces were red and they did not speak. When Kuei Long heard that, he was stunned. When he thought of the sect's situation, he sighed. He was too focused on revenge and forgot about the sect's situation. But, so what? Go, invite the Array Master over. As for revenge, I will use the name of Kuei Water Sect as a guarantee. I will not let the Array Guild down. Moreover, with the strength of the Array Guild, why would they be afraid of this? Indeed, the Array Guild was not afraid. As long as you insist on inviting them, they will end up in a miserable state. At the very least, they will take away all of the other party's belongings and everything of value. At the very least, it was not impossible for the entire sect to be wiped out. Thus, when he made this decision, he had already thought of a countermeasure. However, when Lu Huai and the others heard that, they had a different feeling. They should have known that the price would be high. What are you waiting for? Kuei Long roared. He couldn't wait any longer. He wanted to kill Lin Yun, he wanted to kill the person who had humiliated him. Although Lu Huai was still hesitating, when he heard Kuei Long's angry rebuke, he quickly got up and rushed off into the distance. Don't worry, Master. Your disciple will definitely pass on your message. His voice grew weaker and weaker until it completely disappeared. Everyone looked at Lu Huai's departing figure and sighed, not saying anything in the end. All right, when the people from the Formation Guild arrive, it will be time for us to take action. During this period of time, let's recuperate and wait for the arrival of the storm. After saying that, Kuei Long walked to the side and began to cultivate. Let's go and cultivate. Just like that, the storm passed dramatically. In the first level of the Netherworld Dragon Spring's secret realm, in the Death Realm, Linley was currently lying on the ground, panting. His clothes were stained with blood, but because of the color of Linley's blood and his white robes, although he was in a sorry state, it made him look especially elegant and noble. He didn't know what was happening in the Xuanzong sect in the Holy World. Right now, he only wanted to calm down and have a good rest. Huff, huff, damn it, what the hell is going on? The first level is already so terrifying. The next few levels will eat me alive. Not long ago, Linley had been searching for heavenly treasures and strolling through the realm of death. For some reason, he had arrived at a cliff. Suddenly, a wave of pure nether energy gushed out from the bottom of the cliff. A golden fruit had appeared in a crack in the middle of the cliff. How could Lin Ray not take part in such a good thing? However, with this step, Lin Ray was dumbfounded. Just as Linley grabbed the golden fruit in his hands and placed it into the jade box he had prepared, suddenly, a cold, murderous aura emanated from behind him. A long sword formed from Yin Chi stabbed towards the back of Lin Ray's neck. It was so fast that Lin Ray didn't have the chance to react. Just as the long sword was about to cut off his head, Lin Ray tilted his head and the long sword passed by his scalp. In the end, he narrowly dodged the sword. After the sword passed, he thought he had a chance to catch his breath. However, just as the long sword fell, a long spear rushed out of nowhere and landed 3 inches in front of Lin Ray. Clang! The sound of the gun made Lin Ray's scalp tingle. His heart was pounding non-stop. As such, similar things happened more and more. At first, it was still okay. At first, they were all weak spirits. However, as time passed, a spirit that Lin Ray couldn't fight back appeared. With a slap, Lin Ray was sent flying. In the end, because of this slap, Lin Ray, who was flying in the air, entered the system space without thinking. Thus, this scene happened. Lying on the grass and thinking about what had happened, he was terrified. If he hadn't reacted quickly, the system would have to find a new owner. Brother Lei, how is it outside? Do you want me to go out and help? After knowing the danger here, Lin Ray sent everyone here. Lying on the ground, he turned to look at the flaming tiger. A hint of bitterness flashed across his face. Then, he recovered his smile and said, "Don't worry. Your brother Lei is the chosen one. How could I die so easily?" As he spoke, he gave the flaming tiger a difficult task. During this period of time, guard me. I want to break through to the Earth Sage stage here. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to survive the next few levels of the trial. As soon as he said this, little tiger, who was still laughing, instantly became serious. He understood the meaning behind the smile. Don't worry, Brother Lei. I'll definitely guard you. No one can get close. With that, he turned and walked away. As for the danger, hee, what a joke. In the system space, even if he was a Dao integration stage cultivator, he couldn't hurt him at all. The reason why he asked the flaming tiger to guard him was because he wanted the flaming tiger to calm down and cultivate. During this period of time, the flaming tiger had become impatient because of what had happened here. This wasn't a good sign. You guys can call the host. During this period of time, try to raise your cultivation as much as possible. As for the hidden dangers left behind, I'll solve them all after I break through. Yes, Brother Lei. Chapter 1375. In the Holy World, inside the Xuanzong sect of Chu Yuan Valley, Lin Yun had been very quiet for the past 2 days. He didn't do anything and looked very relaxed. However, he wasn't that relaxed in his heart. No one knew what kind of serious problem he was about to face. Facing the pressure of more than 10 sects, he felt very uncomfortable. The Xuanzong sect had never felt so sullen, except when they were in the immortal world. However, later on, those sects that offended the Xuanzong sect either died or were annihilated. Even if they were lucky enough to survive, they eventually became the vassals of the Xuanzong sect. It could be said that the Xuanzong sect was an absolute overlord in the immortal world. Looking at this place, not to mention the overlord level, it was already very good that they weren't annexed by others. They had to be careful everywhere. Where was their former high-spirited and vigorous spirit? Where was their former recklessness? There was no way around it. It wasn't up to them to do whatever they wanted. The environment was changing. Everything was changing according to the changes in the illusion. Sigh. A sigh sounded in the main hall of the Xuanzong sect. It was filled with sorrow and complicated emotions. Thinking about the enemies outside the door, it gave him a headache. Evil Phoenix, I hope you can hurry up. Although my father left behind a formation, it won't last for long. He wasn't foolish enough to think that a single formation would be able to stop everyone. Ruo Lin and Yun Zhen had such thoughts. It wasn't up to him to do what the other sect leaders wanted. Father, where are you? The sect is in trouble. Do you know? He looked into the distance with undisguised melancholy. How could I forget? Is Lu Huai back? Outside the Xuanzong sect, a disciple looked at the sect leader and asked in a deep voice. Sect leader, senior brother Lu hasn't returned yet. The disciple came to Kuei Long and bowed. He spoke with a trembling voice, as if he was very afraid of Kuei Long. What? Looking at that disciple, Kuei Long raised his voice by a few decibels. He stared at that disciple with a murderous look, causing the disciple's heart to tremble. With a plop sound, that disciple's legs went soft. He knelt on the ground and repeatedly kowtowed. Sect Master, Senior Martial Brother Lu might have been delayed by something on the way. Why don't we wait a little longer? Just as the disciple was about to ask Kuei Long to wait, Kuei Long's expression changed abruptly. His killing intent surged. The disciple trembled and quickly changed his words. Sect Master, disciple will go and look for Senior Brother Lu. I will definitely bring him back. Then, without waiting for Kuei Long to respond, I stood up and flew into the distance. There really isn't a single person who can make me worry. Kuei Long gave a cold snort and closed his eyes again. As for Lu Huai, he also wanted to know why he hadn't returned from the Spell Formation Guild. According to his calculations, 5 days should be more than enough for him to travel from here to the Formation Guild. But now... Forget it, I'll give him a few more days to live. Kuei Long closed his eyes again. Dragon Origin City, in a secret room under the Formation Guild. If Kuei Long were here and saw the person who had been locked up all this time, he would probably be dumbfounded. At this moment, the person locked up in the secret room was none other than Lu Huai, who had come to ask for help. However, at this moment, Lu Huai's condition was not particularly good. He was curled up in a corner with tears in his eyes. He looked extremely wronged. Especially with the bruises all over his face, it was a horrible sight to behold. Who did I offend? It was my master who asked me to come here. Why did you lock me up? Just 3 days ago, Lu Huai came to the Formation Guild and asked for a formation master to decipher the formation. Furthermore, he offered a decent price. At that time, there were formation masters who agreed to it. After all, it would be a bastard who didn't want to earn money. Furthermore, compared to alchemists, formation masters didn't need that much money. However, it was still quite expensive. Zhu Tai was an emperor-level formation master in the Formation Guild. He had a high status in the Formation Guild. Originally, it was impossible for him to go, but he really wanted to see the formation that Lu Huai encountered. However, when he asked Lu Huai what the sect was, Lu Huai told him truthfully that it was the Kuei Shui sect. However, when he heard this sect, Zhu Tai's expression changed abruptly. Perhaps Lu Huai didn't notice it, but the others did. At that time, Lu Huai was filled with joy. He felt that he had definitely done a great service this time. However, who would have thought that just as he was thinking about it, Zhu Tai's cold and emotionless voice entered Lu Huai's ears. Go, lock him up for me. Find someone to beat him up every day. Also, within 3 days, I want to know everything about the Kuei sect. Remember, everything. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present wanted to curry favor with this emperor-level formation master. Just like that, Lu Huai was locked up, and he lived a great life every day. Every day, there would be people who would come to show him a show of love. As for the information about the Kuei sect, under the temptation of Zhu Tai, he was thoroughly investigated. Even Kuei Long found out about it a few times at night. Thinking about the unfair treatment he had received during this period of time, Lu Huai really wanted to figure out what was going on. How did he get caught for no reason, and why he was inexplicably touched by someone's fists of love every day? Unfortunately, it was impossible for him to know all of this. The only one who knew was Zhu Tai himself. In a room on the 6th floor of the Formation Guild, Zhu Tai's face was gloomy as he looked at the memorial tablet in front of him. On it was written his beloved wife, Yun Meng. Meng, do you see this? The person who could do nothing to me back then, I have found him. As he spoke, tears flowed out of his eyes uncontrollably. His eyes were filled with killing intent. It was so dense that it made people tremble in fear. Kuei Long, I didn't look for you, but you came to me. This time, I will let you know what it's like to reap your soul in hell. As he spoke, he got up and walked up the stairs. He came to a room and gently knocked on the door. Dong dong dong. At this moment, in the room, a white-haired old man was sitting in front of a table. When he heard the knocking, he put down the brush in his hand and replied with a smile, "Come in." With a sound, the door opened. Zhu Tai's figure appeared in the old man's sight. If the people in Dragon Origin City saw the old man, they would definitely be shocked. It was not because of other reasons, but because this old man was the only first-grade Saint-grade formation master in the entire Formation Guild. Moreover, he had lived for a very long time. Everyone only knew that when the Dragon Origin Formation Guild was established, Mu Tian and Elder Mu had already existed. Looking at Elder Mu, Zhu Tai let out a long breath. He walked up to him and said, "Master, I would like to leave for a while." "Hee, you still haven't let go of the hatred from back then?" "Master, I..." Zhu Tai opened his mouth but hesitated. He wanted to vent his anger, but before he killed his enemy, he could not vent the depression in his heart. Why bother? No, looking at Elder Mu, Zhu Tai was filled with hatred. What Kuei Long did to Meng, back then, I will never be able to let go of it in this lifetime. Master, don't you know what happened back then? Sigh, but it's better to squash enmity than keep it alive. If you continue like this, you will fall into your inner demons. Is it really worth it? Are you sure you want to walk down the path of revenge for someone who is no longer around? He could not bear to see his beloved disciple deviate from the right path. He had always understood Zhu Tai's thoughts, but he had always wanted to change. He did not expect that in the end, his efforts would be wasted because of Kuei Long. Of course, revenge was not wrong, but he did not want his disciple to become a murderer. In his world, there was no unresolvable hatred, only obsession that could not be let go. He knew very well that even if Zhu Tai really killed Kuei Long, the guilt in his heart would not lessen at all. This was because this obsession had already become his inner demon. Even if he really wanted to take revenge, Kuei Long was already gone. Master. Looking at Elder Mu, Zhu Tai lowered his head. Not only did the killing intent in his eyes not lessen, it became even more intense. If I don't take revenge, I'm afraid that my cultivation will never reach its peak, but... Sigh. Letting out a long sigh, he shook his head and waved his hand. Go, I know what you're worried about. Now, Kuei Water Sect is with Xuanzong Sect. If you want to take revenge, I'm afraid that you will offend the other sections. You're afraid that they'll do something to the Array Formation Guild and this old man, right? Hearing this, Zhu Tai lowered his head. He did not say anything, but he gave his answer. Haha. You brat. Looking at his disciple, Elder Mu could not help but laugh. Back then, Zhu Tai still had a trace of kindness in his heart. That was why he became his disciple. Even now, don't worry. Giving Zhu Tai a reassuring smile, he continued, have you forgotten that I am invincible in a third-grade city? Say that here, pointing to the surroundings, he continued, I am the leader of the Array Guild. Do you think that they will be willing to offend the Array Guild and do something to me? Yes, but that won't do. Do you think that they can withstand the Array Guild's revenge? I should have known. I am a first-grade Saint-grade Array Master. Even if they want to take action, they will have to see if they have the guts to do so and how angry the Array Guild is. Hearing this, Zhu Tai, who was still worried, calmed down. Indeed, no matter the situation, he would not dare to let those people take action. And since that was the case, his original worry was gone. Next, it was time for him to take revenge. Bowing, he said, Master, in the first half of my life, I lived for my parents and relatives. In the second half, I lived for you. Without you, there would be no Zhu Tai, so, I will overcome the obsession in my heart and come back to be filial to you. Don't worry, I promise that I will not die outside. Saying this, he knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times. N. Elder Mu nodded in relief, oh right. Suddenly, he thought of something and quickly said, that person from Kuei-Shui's sect asked you to break the array. Did he say what kind of array it was? I think, he did. Saying this, Zhu Tai sank into his memories and recalled what Lu Huai said a few days ago. That's right. That person seemed to have said that the other party's array was something that even the combined attacks of several Dao Fruit Saints could not break. As for the details, what? Elder Mu exclaimed. He stood up and stared at his disciple with his eyes wide open. Are you sure that's what he said? Seeing his master's huge reaction, Zhu Tai did not hide anything and nodded, yes, that's what he said. But it's nothing. Master, you can do it, right? Hearing this, the corner of Elder Mu's mouth twitched violently. He was stunned on the spot. Indeed, he could do it. However, it depended on the extent. He could indeed make a Dao Fruit Saints attack the array and not break it, but that was only temporary. At most, it could last for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. After that, the array would not be able to hold on any longer and shatter. If it was really like what the other party said, then this array was very likely to be of a higher level. Moreover, the array master who set up this array was very likely to be from that sect. Thinking of this, Elder Mu could not help it. For so many years, his array formation realm had been stagnant. No matter how much he comprehended the Tao, it remained stagnant. If he could observe a higher level array formation, it would undoubtedly be the best choice to improve his realm. It was just that he had not been able to find that miracle. If this time, Master, are you all right? In his life, this was the first time he saw such a strange side to his master. He really wanted to know what kind of thing could make his master lose his composure. However, at this moment, how could Elder Mu care about anything else? He only wanted to go to the Xuanzong sect and see the existence of that array formation. Thinking of this, he raised his head, Little Tai, you see, it's dangerous for you to go alone. Looking at his master's hungry expression, Zhu Tai could not help but shudder. At this moment, he felt like he was the meat in his master's eyes, and his master was like a wolf waiting for an opportunity to pounce. Master. Let's go, I'll go with you. When the time comes, reporting, President, there is a disciple of the Kuei-Shui sect outside the door requesting an audience. The sudden voice interrupted Elder Mu's words. However, the strange thing was that this time, Elder Mu was not angry. Instead, he was full of smiles, which was very abnormal. I originally wanted to ask that person to lead the way. Now, the person leading the way is here. As for him, thinking of the person he caught 2 days ago, killing intent flashed across his eyes. A smile appeared on his face, and he continued, Go, the person in the secret room is useless now. Kill him. When the person at the door heard this, he bowed and nodded, yes, President, this subordinate will go now. After that, the person outside the door retreated. Master, what are you? He did not understand what was going on with his master. Let's go, I'll accompany you to take a look. While protecting you, I'll also see what level the array formation of the Xuanzong sect is. Maybe it can give me some hints to break through. Finally, Zhu Tai understood the reason for this matter. After all this time, it was because of this matter. However, this was also good. Nodding, a smile flashed, since that's the case, let's go. Don't let the Kuei sect wait too long. Chapter 1376. At the entrance of the Array Guild, the disciple from Kuei sect waited anxiously. Soon, Elder Mu and Zhu Tai appeared in front of him. Looking at their attire, although he didn't know their identities, they must be extraordinary to be able to be surrounded by so many people. He stepped forward and arrived in front of Elder Mu and the rest. His face was covered in tears and snot. Senior, I am a disciple from Kuei sect. I am here to look for an array master. Oh, right. Although he was here to look for an array master, he didn't forget about Lu Huai. What few days? A disciple from my Kuei sect came to invite someone, but I haven't seen him for so many days. I wonder, have you seen my senior? After he said this, Zhu Tai and Old Mu smiled and shook their heads. No, the Kuei Water sect can't invite anyone. As for the matter of the Kuei Water sect, the two of us have time. Of course, the reward won't be low. The disciple's face lit up. Lu Huai's matter was instantly thrown to the back of his mind. He quickly nodded and replied, of course, of course. As long as the two of you come, our sect master will definitely reward you. As he spoke, he looked at the two of them sincerely, hoping that they would agree. Of course, at the same time, he also thought that they would reject him. All right, we agree. What? What? Exclamations came from behind Elder Mu and Zhu Tai. Everyone looked at the two of them in shock. Their mouths were wide open, as if they could swallow a fist. It was very exaggerated. Mu, enough. Someone wanted to speak, but before he could say anything, Elder Mu waved his hand and interrupted him. I know what you want to say. This time, I have agreed. Why, could it be? He turned to look at the crowd. Could it be that you want me to go back on my words? I will wait. The crowd didn't dare to continue. They knew that if they continued, Elder Mu would flip out. Others might not know, but they knew very well that Elder Mu's anger was the most terrifying thing in the entire Array Guild. They still remembered that there was a young man who was crippled by Elder Mu because he said something wrong. Ever since that incident, no one in the entire Array Formation Guild dared to say anything that went against their conscience or went against his wishes in front of this person. And now, seeing Elder Mu in such a state, how could they possibly dare to continue speaking? In the end, they could only choose to remain silent. Very good. Regaining his senses, he looked at the Kuei sect disciple and waved his hand, let's go. Lead the way, we'll depart immediately. The moment these words came out, the Kuei Water sect disciple was extremely excited. His face was filled with excitement as he bowed and expressed his gratitude. He was very sincere. Just like this, the Kuei sect disciple brought Elder Mu and Zhu Tai away from the Array Formation Guild. However, right after the three of them left, the disciple who had been ordered to enter the secret underground chamber of the Array Guild walked in. Looking at Lu Huai, who was curled up in a corner, he sneered and said, from today onwards, you are free. Heh, Lu Huai sneered as he looked at the guild disciple. How could he not understand the meaning behind those words? You're here to kill me. Yo, you're not stupid after all. The guild disciple did not deny it. As a result, he looked at him with interest. How do you think I should kill you? Oh, right. As if he suddenly thought of something, his smile was very creepy. I think there's an array that I found quite interesting. Now, I'll use you as an experiment. What do you want to do? Although Lu Huai did not have much hope, at the very least, he wanted a quick death. But now, listening to the other party's words, it seems, that's not the case. He. The guild disciple laughed. The guild disciple laughed in a very creepy manner. He raised his hand, and a cold aura emerged from his hand. Have you heard of 100 Ghost Parade? Lu Huai's eyes narrowed. As if he thought of something, his eyes were filled with fear. It seems like, you seem to know something. Looking at Lu Huai, the man's interest grew. These words undoubtedly proved that what he was thinking was true. His eyes widened and a ruthless look flashed. This time, he no longer looked like he was waiting for death. Instead, he looked like he wanted to rush up and kill him quickly. Haha. Coming in front of Lu Huai, he squatted down and patted his face. You want to kill me, don't you? Bastard, why haven't you demons gone extinct? It shouldn't be. This is impossible. Weren't you all exterminated by the Heavenly Emperor? Why are you still here? No. Closing his eyes, he carefully sensed the other party's aura. Although it was cold on the surface, it was still the existence of nether chi. What's wrong with you? Why can demons cultivate nether chi now? No. Suddenly, the information in his mind came back again. The original nether chi disappeared, and what appeared next was demonic chi. Moreover, it was very pure and dense. Judging from the aura, this was indeed a demon. At this moment, he recalled a book he read in the Kuei-shui Sect scripture pavilion. The book said that there were demons in the world. Demons were not evil, but the chi they cultivated was corrosive, death, and extermination. Hence, they were regarded as demons. However, the next sentence was unforgettable. Demons and gods could coexist. Demons and immortals could cultivate together. It could open up a new path of cultivation and could directly pursue the great Tao. You're a demon and immortal cultivator? With a questioning tone, he knew that he would die today. However, he still wanted to know if the person in front of him was a demon and immortal cultivator. If that was the case, then, the end of the underworld would come. The entire underworld would not be at peace. He stared at the other party, not daring to let go for a moment. He was afraid that if he did, the other party would disappear and he would completely sink into oblivion. Looking at Lu Huai, the man nodded. Indeed, Lu Huai could be considered smart. You're not bad. If Elder Mu didn't want you to die, I would really want you to stay. However, what a pity. As he spoke, he channeled his demonic chi into his palm and pressed it on Lu Huai's head. You're right. I'm a demon and immortal cultivator. Moreover, I'll tell you frankly, I'm a demon. As for the Heavenly Emperor you mentioned, you might not believe me, but he's the one who let us go and taught us how to cultivate nether chi. This is the compensation he gave us. Compensation for killing us for the sake of the heart demon, so, you can die now. Oh, I see. As he spoke, Lu Huai closed his eyes and stopped talking. He didn't expect this to happen. Chapter 1377. On the other side, Elder Mu and Zhu Tai followed the Kuei-shui Sect disciple without stopping. On the morning of the third day, the three of them arrived at the entrance of the Xuanzong Sect. That is, damn, am I seeing things? Elder Mu? Why is he here? And why is he following the Kuei-shui Sect disciple? Don't tell me he came with the Kuei-shui Sect. In an instant, the sect leaders and grand elders were dumbfounded when they saw Elder Mu following the Kuei-shui Sect disciple into the territory of the Kuei-shui Sect. Some of the sect leaders even thought that they were seeing things. They quickly rubbed their eyes until their eyes hurt before they accepted the reality. That's right, they saw it clearly. Elder Mu really came, and he went to the Kuei-shui Sect. What's going on? Did the Kuei sect have dealings with the Array Guild? Yang Kuan looked at Old Mu with a gloomy face. He didn't feel good at all. He knew Old Mu's level. If this fellow were to strike, the mysterious sect would definitely be annihilated. Especially with his array formation skills, they were even more godly. Sect leader, this Elder Mu, how would I know? Shouldn't you explain this to me? Looking at the old man, Yang Kuan was in a bad mood. Sect master, I didn't receive any news about this. Perhaps Elder Mu was invited over by the Kuei sect? Of course, when he said this, he really wanted to slap himself a few times. How could the leader of the Array Guild make a move for Mingyu? What a joke! If that was the case, they would have invited this godlike existence long ago. Just like that, everyone watched as Elder Mu walked into the territory of the Kuei sect. Although they wanted to go up and greet him, when they thought of Elder Mu's temper, they suppressed their palpitating hearts. At the territory of the Kuei sect, seeing Elder Mu's arrival, Kuei Long was stunned. When he saw the disciple beside him, he understood. He walked up to Elder Mu and Elder Xian, bowed, and said, "Honorable Array Master, the sect protection array of this sect is very powerful. We sages are unable to break it, so we'll have to trouble you from now on." Elder Mu, Zhu Tai, and even the sect leaders and grand elders in the distance were stunned. However, after thinking about it, they understood what was going on. Kuei Long had risen late, and had always done some shady things. Furthermore, Kuei Water sect itself was not an important sect. Hence, he had never seen Elder Mu's lineup before. However, he had heard of their reputation. However, after hearing Kuei Long's words, Elder Mu was relieved. Since Kuei Long did not know, he would let him continue to misunderstand. After all, Kuei Long would not live for long. Zhang Xian pondered for a moment before nodding. "You must be the head of the Kuei sect, Kuei Long." On the side, Zhu Tai, who had been listening to Old Mu, locked his eyes on Kuei Long. He wanted to know the answer. However, regarding the killing intent in Zhu Tai's heart, Kuei Long was completely oblivious. Nodding his head, he said with a smile, "That's right, this seat is Kuei Water sect master, Kuei Long." He dares to call himself Venerable One in front of this person. "Old lady, there's no need for the Xuanzong sect to do anything. This guy won't live for long. This guy really has dog eyes. He doesn't even recognize Elder Mu. If that's the case, then, could it be that he really used the Nether Jade to invite Elder Mu?" Looking at Elder Mu's cold attitude, Yang Kuan could not help but reevaluate their relationship. However, in his opinion, there was no need for the Array Guild to do so. Inexplicably, he could not make sense of it. Thus, he did not take the opportunity to look at it seriously. "My master is here to look at the array. As for you, this is..." Elder Mu did not say anything. He knew that the next stage would be the array protecting the sect. As for Kuei Long and the others, they would naturally be left to his precious disciple. "Remember, understand everything. When I go back, cultivate well. Do you understand?" "Yes, I understand, master." Zhang Xian replied and stepped in front of Kuei Long. His killing intent surged and he did not hide it at all. "Kuei Long, do you still remember a girl called Yun Meng?" "Oh, perhaps you will understand if I explain it this way. Once, the Yun family took in a bastard who was worse than an animal. After that bastard had an idea, he wanted to molest the Yun family's daughter. In the end, because the Yun family found out, he became a ghost under your blade. As for Yun Meng, she was mercilessly killed by you." His body trembled and his face turned pale. He took a step back and looked at Zhu Tai in front of him in a daze. Finally, he remembered who the person in front of him was. "You are Zhu Nairong?" "No, that's impossible." He shook his head and denied it. "You can't be Yun Meng's fiancé. I know that Zhu Nairong died back then. You can't be her." As he spoke, his aura returned. He took a step forward and his face turned ferocious. Say it. Who are you and why would you say that? Did Zhu Nairong tell you that I was the one who did it to the Yun family? As soon as he said that, everyone was puzzled. In the distance, Elder Mu sneered and ignored him. He did not need to think to know what Kuei Long wanted to say next. It was nothing more than the Zhu family's doing back then. Uncle Yun protected me and sent me out. I did not expect the Yun family to be massacred by the Zhu family. Sure enough, Kuei Long really said that. Elder Mu did not want to say any more. This guy inverted right and wrong. He was a shameless villain. Well, people like him would only add to the burden of time if they lived. He raised his head and touched the invisible wall in front of him. A smile appeared in his eyes. As expected, this formation is much stronger than me. As the old saying goes, once an expert makes a move, one will know whether he is skilled or not. With just a touch, he knew how powerful the formation was. He sat down cross-legged with excitement and placed his hands on the formation's wall. He closed his eyes and began to comprehend the formation. On the other side, Zhu Tai could not bear it anymore. His eyes were originally clear, but after hearing Kuei Long's words, his eyes turned bloodshot. He looked like a beast, intimidating others. Kuei Long, you shameless villain. You actually dare to slander my Zhu clan and treat the Yun clan in such a manner. Do you know that all these years, I've been working hard in my cultivation all for the sake of today? All for the sake of avenging the 3,561 people of the Yun clan. It's all because of you that my wife died an unnatural death. It's all because of you. If it wasn't for you, how could I possibly end up like this? After saying that, his figure flashed and appeared in front of Kuei Long. He stared at him coldly and gritted his teeth. You deserve to die. I will cut you into 8 pieces. I will pull out your tendons and skin you alive. I will let your filthy soul enter the 9 underworlds and be burned by the 9 underworlds' fire for eternity. I will let everyone in the sect live a life worse than death. This is the price you said you would pay. Chapter 1378. How dare you? Everyone was stunned when they saw Zhu Tai. One of them stepped forward fearlessly and arrived in front of Zhu Tai. He looked at him and said fiercely, "Do you think there's no one in my Kuei sect?" After he finished speaking, a 3 long sword appeared in his hand. A sword chi rushed towards Zhu Tai's face. It was so fast that it almost flashed past. Sword cultivator? I didn't expect a sword cultivator to be hidden in a small Kuei sect. Really, looking at the middle-aged man, Zhu Tai was slightly shocked. Sword cultivators were very popular in this world. A sword cultivator could be said to have a bright future for the sect. After all, sword cultivators were very rare. Of course, there were many who used swords. However, those who could truly be called sword cultivators were those who entered the Tao with the sword. They were different from ordinary cultivators who only had the Tao of the sword. The Tao of the sword was to press forward and be invincible. Sword cultivators could only advance and not retreat. Otherwise, they would be defeated. Since you know that I'm a sword cultivator, quickly retreat. Don't fall out with me. As for Zhu Tai, he did not want to make a move. After all, the other party was from the Array Guild. Although he knew that he was a sword cultivator, in comparison, it was not as important as the Array Master profession. Moreover, the other party's power was much stronger than the Kuei sect. He wouldn't dare to attack him unless it was a critical moment. After all, he hadn't reached the point where he would live and die with the sect. However, Zhu Tai acted as if he didn't hear the man's reprimand. He didn't care about the sword chi in front of him. He stepped forward and approached the man step by step. The man smiled bitterly when he saw Zhu Tai's reaction. The sword chi in front of Zhu Tai slowly retreated as Zhu Tai took a step forward. This scene fell into the hearts of the surrounding people. They shook their heads slightly. This scene made them understand that this sword cultivator's state of mind was broken. As for the path of a sword cultivator, it was completely broken when he retreated. Just now, it was enough to show that he wasn't pure. He didn't have the state of mind and Tao that a sword cultivator should have. I wouldn't want this kind of sword cultivator even if he's given to me. It's just a waste of resources. Such an existence still has the nerve to call himself a sword cultivator. Truly shameless. If it were me, I would have slit my own throat and committed suicide the moment my sword heart shattered. What a pity. A proper sword cultivator has actually walked to such an extent. It's truly a waste of his natural talent. For a moment, all the surrounding sects began to sigh one after another. Of course, there were sighs, and naturally there were those who were watching the show, especially those who didn't want to see the rise of the Kuei water sect. This scene undoubtedly gave them a reassuring pill. You have two choices. Zhu Tai ignored the discussions around him. He looked at the man and said, "First, leave now and I'll pretend this never happened. Nothing will happen between us." Then, what about the second one? The man asked subconsciously. Second, of course it's you. But it's not certain who will die in the end. Are you sure you want to take such a huge risk for the Kuei sect? Moreover, I have the Array Formation Guild behind me. Are you sure you want to try? As soon as these words were spoken, any normal person would be able to think clearly about what decision to make. Especially for someone who didn't have a sense of dependence on the sect and was even dispensable. When Zhu Tai finished speaking about the two choices, the man didn't even think. He looked at Kuei Long and took a step back. He cupped his hands and said, "The mountains will not change and the rivers will flow forever. We will meet again someday." Whoosh! The man turned around and his figure turned into a long sword. He soared into the sky and disappeared into the horizon. Despicable person, you actually dropped the ball at this time. Seeing the man leave, Kuei Long was furious. This wasn't what he wanted. He originally thought that the man could resist for a while. But now, it seemed like he thought too much. However, the sages who originally wanted to live and die with the sect hesitated when they saw the sword cultivator Zhou Xiong leave. Although the sect might have nurtured them, but, to be fair, this sect was no longer the same sect as before. Especially after Kuei Long ascended to the position, the entire sect was in a foul atmosphere. It was no longer the place they yearned for. Although the Kuei water sect wasn't famous back then, at least it gave them a sense of belonging. But now, was it worth it? They weren't sure. They didn't know if they would be able to protect the sect in the future. Of course, more importantly, they were up against the Array Formation Guild. All of you, go. Whoever can kill him, I'll give him the position of deputy sect leader. Originally, this place should have been filled with excitement and impulsiveness. But now, the sages and even the disciples were still standing there quietly and indifferently. Perhaps, if they were facing the Xuanzong sect, the conditions just now might have made them risk their lives. But facing Zhu Tai, they didn't have any thoughts of fighting for fame and fortune. It was easy to choose between life and fame and fortune. After all, without life, those were just worldly possessions. Why aren't you moving? Looking at the people who still didn't move, Kuei Long's expression turned ugly. In the past, his orders were equivalent to an imperial edict. But now, first brother, second brother, you two go. He looked at his first and second disciples. He was very confident in them. After all, he taught them personally. However, he didn't expect that the two of them also didn't move. They were still standing there and looking at him coldly. Indeed, he taught them personally. But what they learned wasn't just his cultivation method and array formation. They learned to prioritize benefits. As the saying goes, every man for himself and the devil takes the hindmost. This was what they were best at. Master, you seem to have forgotten that Kuei water sect doesn't mean much to us now. That's right, Master. He looked at Kuei Long with a cold smile and continued, with our aptitude, we can have a place in any sect. Moreover, what you taught us, aren't we using it very well now? As soon as he said that, the surrounding people looked at Kuei Long with ridicule. This was what they wanted to see. But they didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Throughout the whole process, Zhu Tai didn't say much. This was enough to show how powerful the Array Formation Guild was. How does it feel to be betrayed by your friends? Zhu Tai looked at the indifferent crowd. He didn't want to comment on their attitude. Now, he only wanted to kill Kuei Long. As for these people, they thought that leaving Kuei Water's sect would change anything. But they underestimated Zhu Tai's vengeful mentality. There was no such thing as forgiveness. There was only killing. He didn't want to leave any trouble for himself. Whoosh! After saying that, Zhu Tai made his move. Suddenly, a scorching aura soared into the sky. On the surface of Zhu Tai's body, a scorching flame soared into the sky. He raised his hand and threw a fireball at Kuei Long. Aren't you an Array Formation Master? Kuei Long was dumbfounded when he saw the fireball rushing towards him. He could still distinguish the fireball of a cultivator. This fireball wasn't condensed from nether chi. It was a complete body. Shouldn't this be something that only alchemists or blacksmiths could have? Why would an Array Formation Master have it? Kuei Long couldn't understand. But this didn't give him time to think. The fireball instantly appeared and smashed towards his face. Its speed was shocking. Bastard, how can this guy be so strong? Without thinking, he raised his hand and a black shield appeared in front of him. With a muffled sound, Kuei Long's expression changed when he collided with the fireball. The scorching aura became even more intense. At the same time, a powerful force surged out from the fireball and entered the shield. Then, it spread throughout his body. Suddenly, Kuei Long couldn't control his body. He flew backwards with the shield. Dong! 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 The sound of the shield hitting the ground echoed. Kuei Long, who was flying backwards, rolled on the ground for a long time before he stopped. A mouthful of scarlet blood spurted out from his mouth. His face paled. In just one exchange, Kuei Long was at a disadvantage. From the looks of it, he was even injured. Hiss! Gasps could be heard all around. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Although Kuei Long was despicable and shameless, his cultivation base was still decent. He was a Dao fruit sage. But now, Kuei Long, who was a Dao fruit sage, had been blown away in one move. How could these sect masters accept this? What kind of power was this? Earth sage? Their gazes locked onto Zhu Tai, sizing him up. Some of them even released their divine sense to clearly see his cultivation base. Unfortunately, the result was that they didn't know anything. All they could see from Zhu Tai's body was a fog. What's going on? Why can't I sense Zhu Tai's aura? Right at this moment, just as he was feeling confused, an old voice exploded in his ears. Put away those thoughts of yours. If you try to investigate this old man's disciples' cultivation or anything else, this old man will destroy your sect and slaughter your entire family. Everyone understood. They didn't have any temper at all. They knew this old man's temper. Perhaps if it was someone else, they might retort, but this old man was a man of his word. More importantly, his cultivation base wasn't something they could withstand. They bowed in Elder Mu's direction, indicating that they knew. In response, the original pressure and chill disappeared. Everyone's tense bodies relaxed. Zhu Tai didn't know about this. At this moment, he only had eyes for Kuei Long. Looking at Kuei Long vomiting blood in the distance, Zhu Tai flashed and appeared in front of Luo Kong once again. Before Kuei Long could react, Zhu Tai reached out and tapped his body a few times. Kuei Long, who was already injured, was now lying on the ground as if he had lost all his strength. What did you do to me? Feeling his body, Kuei Long panicked. He tried to communicate with his power, but at this moment, he realized that although his cultivation base was still there, his power seemed to be sealed by something. He couldn't control it at all. It was like a pool of stagnant water, making him despair. And he knew that all of this had something to do with Zhu Tai poking him a few times just now. I'm scared. Unfortunately, no one can save you now, so accept your fate. As he spoke, he squatted down and placed his hands on Kuei Long's chest where his ribs were. His palms turned into claws. The sound of flesh being pierced was heard. Zhu Tai's hands had already entered Kuei Long's body. Crack. The sound of bones breaking was heard. When Zhu Tai pulled his hands out, there were 2 bones in his hands. There was a trace of blood on the white bones, which was very eye-catching. Ah! Suddenly, the sound of a pig being slaughtered was heard. Kuei Long was lying on the ground, screaming at the top of his lungs. His body kept twitching. Although he had the cultivation of a sage, was it useful? How could he not be in pain when his bones were broken while he was awake? You're in pain now? Looking at Kuei Long screaming, Zhu Tai sneered and threw away the bones in his hands. Then, he placed his hands on Kuei Long's body again and activated his cultivation base. The nether chi entered Kuei Long's body and wrapped around his meridians. What are you doing? Don't. Kuei Long endured the pain and felt the nether chi wrapping around his meridians. He subconsciously thought of Zhu Taishuan's words and couldn't help but speak. He was scared. He didn't expect Zhu Tai to do what he said. He really wanted to pull out his tendons and skin him alive. Is that possible? With a tearing sound, he forcefully raised both of his hands. The nether chi wrapped around the meridians and turned into chain-like existences. In an instant, all of the meridians were pulled out by their roots from their original locations. Ah! Bastard, you, demon, you'll die a horrible death, a horrible death. Kuei Long, who wanted to use his voice to relieve the pain, realized that this method was useless. The pain was still there, and it was getting more and more painful. He didn't even have the chance to faint. The real pain is yet to come. Zhu Tai withdrew his nether chi. He couldn't let Kuei Long go so easily. He flipped his hand and a dagger appeared. What are you doing? Under Kuei Long's gaze, Zhu Tai held the dagger and came to Kuei Long's chest. He placed the dagger on Kuei Long's chest and used a little force. It seemed like he had practiced this before. He skillfully pulled out the dagger. His other hand came to the wound and grabbed a corner. A layer of skin was slowly peeled off by Zhu Tai. Ah! The screams were endless and never stopped. This scene made the surrounding sect leaders feel a chill down their spines. They realized that they couldn't offend this person. They would rather offend an expert than offend Zhu Tai. Otherwise, it would be normal for their tendons to be pulled out and their skin to be peeled off. Roar. Roar in pain. This is the interest you paid for betraying the Yun family. I've said it before, I'll imprison your soul in the 9 underworld hellfire and let you be burned by the hellfire for all eternity. I'll let you know how foolish your decision was. Oh, right. I heard you say that you have a daughter, right? Zhu Tai grinned. He looked very elegant. However, in Kuei Long's eyes, this was the face of a demon. It was chilling. Don't worry. I will take good care of her. Moreover, you will meet her soon. Chapter 1379. You can't do this, huh? Do you think you're still qualified to negotiate with me? As he spoke, he stabbed out with both hands. Little by little, Kuei Long's skin was cut into Zhu Tai's body. The entire process was filled with endless screams. Everyone trembled when they heard the miserable screams. They subconsciously took a few steps back as if they were afraid of being affected by Zhu Tai's screams. Within the profound sect, Lin Yun was well aware of the situation outside the sect. Facing such a situation, he only wanted to clap his hands and cheer. As the saying went, when dogs bite each other, the Xuanzong sect would survive as long as there was internal strife. As long as they continued like this, it would give Xia Feng more time. Sect Master, there is someone outside who is using the array to comprehend the Tao of arrays. Should we? Red Lotus spoke up. They had clearly seen Elder Mu's presence. After following Linli for so long, they naturally knew why Elder Mu was here. That's right, Sect Master. If that old fellow comprehends the array, then, the Xuanzong sect will be in danger. Sect Master, give the order. If possible, we'll swarm over and kill him outside the sect. Sect Master, for a moment, the people below expressed their opinions. They were all like angry youths, hot-blooded and ready to shed blood for the sect at any time. Enough. Lin Yun waved his hand to stop everyone. He continued, let's not talk about this for now. As for the person outside, don't touch him. As for comprehending the array left behind by my father, who do you think is further on the path of arrays, my father's path of arrays or that old man's path of arrays? Everyone fell silent. Indeed, they trusted Lin Ray, but they couldn't guarantee that the old man's path of arrays was weaker. After all, they were in the holy world, and there was nothing in the holy world that couldn't be found. You all. Lin Yun waved his hand, leave for now. As for the old man, I'll go take a look. If I can instigate him to defect, he might be of use to our Xuanzong sect. Sect Master, Sect Leader, you can't do that. That old man's cultivation is not weak. If his cultivation is too strong, who can guarantee your safety? That's right, Sect Master. It's ridiculous for you to go there personally. The disciples and elders of the Xuanzong sect began to oppose Lin Yun's decision. They strongly disagreed with Lin Yun's decision. Firstly, it was because Lin Yun was the sect master of the Xuanzong sect. Secondly, and most importantly, it was because Lin Yun was Lin Yun's son and their master. How could they let their master be in danger and not do anything? If anything happened to Lin Yun, they wouldn't be able to explain themselves to Lin Ray when he returned. Moreover, they would have to bear the boundless wrath of Lin Ray. The battle in the immortal world was enough to prove how important Lin Yun was to Lin Ray. It could be described like this: if you hurt him even a little, I'll exterminate your entire clan. If you hurt him even a little, I'll make your family and friends lose their lives. They'll be suppressed in the 9 underworlds forever, never to be reincarnated. Therefore, how could they dare? However, what made them helpless was that their dissuasion was useless against Lin Yun. There was no need to doubt his decision. Lin Yun waved his hand and silenced everyone. I understand what you're thinking. However, I've already decided on this matter, so, you can all go about your own business. After saying that, he ignored everyone and left the main hall under everyone's gaze. What should we do? If anything happens to the sect master, Master will skin us alive when he returns. That's right. But look at the sect master now. Do you think he'll let you follow him? Everyone fell into silence when they heard Lin Yun's words. They were well aware of Lin Yun's temperament. He was a man of his word, a man of his word. However, just as everyone was panicking, Ing, who had been silent all this time, sighed and waved his hand to silence everyone. Don't worry. Since Yun has already made his decision, he must be fully prepared. We old fellows might as well cultivate the formation properly and try to complete it before the formation is broken. This way, we can further ensure Yun's safety. Isn't that right? Everyone looked at Ing and bowed. Madam is right. We've learned our lesson. Xuanzong sect. With blood staining the ground, Kuei Long was already lying on the ground on the verge of death. His body could not stop twitching, and the Kuei Water sect disciples beside him were all dead. They originally thought that after Kuei Long was killed, there would be nothing left for them to do. But who would have thought that the situation would be completely out of their expectations? The moment Kuei Long was killed, Zhu Tai quickly moved between the people of Kuei Water sect, shuttling back and forth. Just like this, each person that Zhu Tai passed by would leave behind a corpse and a pool of blood. There were only a few Kuei Water Sect's disciples left. Those that were still standing had never made a move. Those that hadn't spoken from the beginning to the end. As for these people, they were still in good condition. They weren't injured at all, and there wasn't even a drop of blood on them. Looking at their fellow sect members, they felt sorrow in their hearts. Of course, they understood that it was related to their lives. Pity for these people was meaningless. Looking up at Zhu Tai, who was walking towards them, they screamed and closed their eyes, waiting for death to come. 30 seconds. 1 minute. 3 minutes. After waiting for 3 minutes, the remaining Kuei Water Sect's disciples still didn't feel any pain. At this moment, a disciple slowly opened his eyes and looked over. Zhu Tai was right in front of them, but he didn't seem to want to kill them. Even the dense killing intent on him couldn't be felt at this moment. "You're not going to kill us?" Finally, the man asked this question. However, he regretted it as soon as his voice fell. Just when he was about to explain, Zhu Tai's voice rang in everyone's ears. "You guys can leave now. In the future, don't do evil. Otherwise, I'll take your heads even if I have to go to the ends of the earth." Glancing at everyone, he said coldly, "Did you hear that?" "Yes, we understand. We thank Senior for not killing us." All the Kuei Water Sect's disciples regained their senses and deeply bowed to Zhu Tai. Then, they turned around and rushed towards the sky without any hesitation. Their speed was faster than their usual speed. Looking at the hellish scene in front of him, Zhu Tai took a deep breath. A thick smell of blood rushed into his mouth and nose. It's settled? Looking at the scene, Zhu Tai was stunned. He looked in front of him and muttered, "Meng, your enemy, your husband has killed for you. Your Yun family's hatred, in the near future, the entire Kuei Water Sect will cease to exist. This is the greatest comfort for you." Chapter 1380. Inside the mysterious sect, Lin Yun slowly walked over. Looking at the blood flowing like a river in front of the sect, he frowned and did not bother to hide his displeasure. "Hey, this isn't a place for you to ruin. Tell me, how should we deal with this?" Zhu Tai, who was in a daze, was awakened by Lin Yun's sudden question. He turned around and looked at the source of the voice. When he saw Lin Yun, he frowned and looked at the bloody corpses on the ground where Lin Yun was pointing. With an awkward expression, Zhu Tai cupped his hands together. "Fellow Daoist, I didn't think of this when I was dealing with my personal grudge. I'm sorry." Zhu Tai continued without any intention of taking responsibility. Lin Yun felt even more unhappy when he saw Zhu Tai's attitude. "So you think you're all that just because your cultivation is high?" Lin Yun looked at Elder Mu, who was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. He raised his hand and took out a token. Suddenly, the array that was in a standby state was activated. What's going on? Why did the array suddenly change its trajectory? Elder Mu, who was in a state of enlightenment, frowned when he sensed the change in the array's trajectory. He was puzzled and woke up. "How's your comprehension? Do you feel that this array has helped you a lot?" Lin Yun's voice rang out in Elder Mu's ears. When Elder Mu raised his head and saw Lin Yun, he came to his senses and stood up. He patted the dust off his clothes and bowed. "I'm the president of the Array Guild. Everyone calls me Elder Mu. May I know who you are?" Although he wasn't sure what role Lin Yun played in the Xuanzong sect, he knew that the token in Lin Yun's hand could activate the array. Therefore, his attitude towards Lin Yun was slightly respectful. If the people from the Array Guild saw Elder Mu acting like this, their jaws would probably drop to the ground. "Master, don't say anything." Lin Yun waved his hand and interrupted Zhu Tai. "Little brother, may I know who set up this array in your sect? May I invite him to meet me?" As soon as he said that, the sect leaders and grand elders of the sects who were hiding in the surroundings were shocked. They knew that Elder Mu's cultivation in array formations was strong. But now, was he asking for guidance? Not only were they shocked, even Zhu Tai, who had followed him for many years, was shocked. This was the first time he had seen his master like this. The corner of Lin Yun's lips rose as he looked at the two of them. The array was naturally set up by my sect. I am not talented, but it was my father, the former leader of the Xuanzong sect. What? Your father? He was dumbfounded, shocked, and in disbelief. All sorts of complicated emotions flashed through his mind. He swore that this was the first time he had felt so shocked. Based on the strength of this formation, he would be an esteemed guest even in a first-grade city. Even in the holy world, he would be a top-notch existence. But this sect in front of him, although they didn't really do anything, their cultivation was lagging behind. Moreover, according to his investigation, this sect seemed to have just ascended not long ago. You have a problem with it? Lin Yun said coldly as he looked at Elder Mu. Clearly, he was displeased with Elder Mu's words. Why can't you give it to my father? He doesn't have the ability. Or something. As if sensing Lin Yun's displeasure, Elder Mu came back to his senses and hurriedly waved his hand. No, it's just that your sect has just ascended not long ago, and yet you're able to set up such an exquisite array. This is truly shocking. Of course, he was even more impressed with the Xuanzong sect in his heart. To be able to set up such an array so soon after ascending, it was enough to show that the other party was already at this level in the lower realm. Otherwise, he had no other explanation. You investigated my Xuanzong sect? Lin Yun's frown deepened. Clearly, he was uncomfortable with Elder Mu's actions. However, judging from the other party's reaction, he should have some estimation of the Xuanzong sect from the array. As he thought about it, the voice with the wig said to Elder Mu and the surrounding people, I am Lin Yun, the sect master of the Xuanzong sect. This sect was founded by my father. If it weren't for my father's absence, you wouldn't have been able to survive until now. As he spoke, he bragged to the heavens for the sake of the wig's deterrence. Originally, he had no choice, but since Elder Mu had set up a platform, he wasn't in a hurry to use it. He just felt that it was inappropriate. I've just spoken to my father. He said that he's currently breaking through the threshold of the heavenly saint realm. If you're careful, you should treat the Xuanzong sect differently. As he spoke, a cold glint flashed in his eyes. He continued, all of you, every single one of you. All of your sects, family, and friends, leave no one alive. Back in the celestial world, there were only a dozen top sects like you all. They didn't know what was good for them. In the end, all of them were destroyed. Oh, right. Back then, the Qinkuan sect of the celestial world was the leader. In the end, it was destroyed. After entering the divine world, the Qinkuan sect was destroyed again because of the old grudge. Now that we're in the holy world, there's no need for the Qinkuan sect to continue existing. Therefore, I won't stop you if you want to take action. Right now, the sect is protected by a formation. My vice sect master is on his way back. Before you break the formation, I believe that your lives will end up like the corpses in the pool of blood in front of the gate. You won't be able to enter the cycle of reincarnation, and you'll suffer the pain of the 9 underworlds for all eternity. As the saying went, quit while you were ahead. Lin Yun still understood that he couldn't go too far. He just had to intimidate them a little. If he bragged too much, the only outcome would be the joint attack of all the sections. At that time, who knew when the formation would break? The Qinkuan sect? What's the origin of this Xuanzong sect? The Qinkuan sect of the celestial world and the divine world was destroyed. This. If the Xuanzong sect of the holy world comes, the outcome will be obvious. A war will be inevitable. Looking at Lin Yun, Elder Mu came back to his senses. He was even more respectful to the Xuanzong sect. He didn't have the same attitude as when he first arrived. Master, how trustworthy is his words? Zhu Tai looked at Elder Mu and asked. They knew about the Qingkuan sect. Back then, when the sects of the two worlds were destroyed, the entire holy world was shaken. After all, killing the Qingkuan sect was a huge crime. Looking at Zhu Tai, Elder Mu nodded. This should be believable. If Lin Yun's father really has the ability to set up such a majestic formation, he will definitely be able to report it. If it wasn't for the fact that he was protecting the sect, we wouldn't be here right now. When Elder Mu said that, a chill ran down Zhu Tai's spine. He couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. The two of them looked at each other with a trace of helplessness in their eyes. However, the surrounding people were already stunned. Lin Yun's breakthrough to the heavenly saint realm was a threat to them. Bastard, who gave you the information? Didn't they say that the Xuanzong sect didn't have any experts? What's going on? Is this a place for ants? It's over. Chapter 1381. In the beginning, everyone was suspicious of Lin Yun's words, but they couldn't resist Elder Mu's lead. In the end, under Elder Mu's lead, everyone began to believe that Lin Yun was telling the truth. As for them, they no longer had the passion to reorganize the Xuanzong sect. Sect Master, what should we do next? The man asked Yang Kuan. The only way to deal with this situation was to wait. Unfortunately, he wasn't the sect master, so he could only wait. Wait. Sure enough, Yang Kuan had no intention of retreating. He was waiting for an opportunity. On the other side, Elder Mu was pleasantly surprised when he confirmed that the array was refined by Lin Rei. This way, he could find a teacher who was shameless enough to teach him arrays. Thinking about it, he didn't want to return to the array guild. He felt oppressed there, and he didn't have freedom. Most importantly, he couldn't improve his array Dao. Little brother, look at this old man. I don't have any other requests. I just want to improve my array Dao. It wasn't easy to find such a powerful array. Do you think this old man will give it up? Lin Yun, Zhu Tai, everyone, these words were enough, and the crowd had nothing to say about it. They just quietly looked at this shameless thing. Little brother, let's make a deal. Let me cultivate here, and I'll give you nether jade. What do you think? No. Lin Yun shook his head and refused. He didn't hesitate at all. Little brother, I haven't mentioned the price yet. Aren't you being a little impatient? Elder Mu was helpless. He felt that it was more difficult and tiring for him to fight this time. On the side, Zhu Tai came back to his senses. He knew what Elder Mu was thinking and immediately went forward to persuade him. Lin Yun was indifferent to this, but Zhu Tai was different. If you want to plead for me, then give me some of the things here. I don't like this kind of blood red and fishy smell. Okay, I'll get it right away. For the sake of his master's happiness, he didn't care about sacrificing himself. Just like that, Zhu Tai took action. It had to be said that he was very efficient. As for Elder Mu, Lin Yun looked at him and said, if you want to comprehend the array, I can give you a chance, but you have to agree to one of my requests. Alright, go ahead. Lin Yun wasn't used to Elder Mu's straightforwardness. Are you sure? I'm sure. Elder Mu nodded in agreement. Since that was the case, Lin Yun did not bother to be courteous and said directly, it's simple. You can stay here and comprehend the array. However, you must protect the mysterious sect until the vice sect leader returns. How is it? Hearing this, Elder Mu fell silent. It was for no other reason than the fact that this condition was too important. He didn't want to agree so rashly. Although the surrounding area is filled with people looking for you, there is strength in numbers. This forced him to hesitate and consider carefully. I agree. However, in less than 3 seconds, Elder Mu readily agreed. This time, it was Lin Yun's turn to be shocked. He hadn't expected such an outcome. Just like that, Elder Mu became the protector of the Xuanzong sect, which gave the other sects a headache. Young Master, it's not good. Young Master Lin Ray has been captured and brought to the enforcement hall, the servant who had just walked in reported to the youth who was writing at the desk. What? Brother Lei has been captured? How is that possible? What happened? Isn't Brother Lei living well? Why was he captured? When the youth heard that Lin Ray had been captured, his reaction was very agitated. He threw the pen he had been writing with aside and dirted an empty piece of paper. I don't know, but I vaguely heard that young Master Lin Ray killed someone. Moreover, that person was a talented disciple that the clan wanted to nurture. Seeing his young master so agitated, the servant hurriedly told him everything he knew. How could this be? This won't do. We have to hurry to the enforcement hall. Brother Lei's body is already weak. If he's tortured, he'll be finished. With that, the youth walked towards the enforcement hall. In the enforcement hall, Lin Ray didn't know that he had an older brother who cared about him so much. At the same time, Lin Batian arrived at the enforcement hall. Oh, Master, you're here. Come and sit here. The two elders who were talking on the podium saw Lin Batian at the door and hurriedly stood up to welcome him. Huh, you must be joking. You're the elders, so it's better for you to sit up there. I'll just sit here and watch. As he spoke, Lin Batian walked over to a nearby chair and sat down. His eyes were fixed on Linley, never leaving him. All right, Master. But family head, this matter involves your son. What do you think? The old man said awkwardly. Don't worry about me. Do as you see fit. As long as he commits a crime, you don't have to worry about me. Hearing Lin Baishan's words, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief and relaxed. Lin Ray, you said that you killed Lin Ji and his servants? Yes. Then why did you kill them? And how did you do it? When the two elders heard Lin Baishan's words, they hurried over to Linley and questioned him. Because they wanted to kill me, so I killed them. As for how I killed them, you'll have to ask Lin Yang. He saw everything. Linley was currently directing the conversation towards Lin Yang. He didn't want to say too much. Master, elders, when I arrived, I checked Lin Ji's body and found that they were all killed in one move. It seemed like they were stabbed to death. What? Stabbed to death? After listening to Lin Yang's report, the two elders were shocked. They stared at Linley, not knowing what they were thinking. Lin Batian was even more shocked. He didn't think that the son he had almost forgotten about would be capable of such a feat. With a swoosh sound, the elder's hand suddenly slapped towards Linley, without any warning at all. Linley suddenly sensed a powerful force closing in on him, and he hurriedly used the astral finger. Although he knew that this attack wasn't something he could withstand, Linley still used his fastest reaction speed to defend against it. Lin Ray's finger collided with the elder's hand. Lin Ray was instantly injured and the sound of his finger breaking could be heard. You! Lin Ray was furious. He had a good impression of the two elders, but now they were being attacked by Lin Ray. No matter what the reason was. As expected, this kid. When the elder felt Linley's attack, he was already shocked. Linley's attack just now had the strength of someone at the 9th level of the body tempering stage. This made him very surprised. How is it? At this moment, Lin Batian, who was watching from the side, saw the result and asked the elder who had attacked. Patriarch, when we were testing Lin Ray, we found that his attack had the strength of a 9th stage physique tempering cultivator. However, his cultivation is only at the 6th stage. This is what surprised me the most. After hearing the elder's words, Lin Batian was also shocked. A 6th stage physique tempering cultivator actually had the strength of a 9th stage physique tempering cultivator. How powerful was that? Even he wasn't this strong when he was at the same level. Alright, since the matter has been confirmed, then Lin Ray's punishment is to be crippled of his cultivation and be imprisoned in the family for life. He is not allowed to take half a step out of the family. These sudden words shocked Linley as well as everyone else in the room. Patriarch, do you see any problems with my method? If there are no problems, then do as I say. Lin Badian frowned and didn't say anything. However, in Lin Rei's eyes, this was undoubtedly a fatal blow. At this moment, the faint hope in Lin Rei's heart was finally extinguished. His originally heavy body suddenly felt lighter. Lin Rei knew that the obsession of his previous body had completely dissipated. This body truly belonged to him. Bastard, what's going on? Is there still an illusion after breaking through to the Earth Sage realm? Looking at everything in front of him, it was as if he had returned to the Lin family. Although it wasn't his real home, it was enough to make him disheartened. After all, this body had left home. Because of his father, he had experienced the fickleness of human nature. Everyone said that even a vicious tiger would not eat its own cubs. However, he did not hesitate to attack his own son. This was enough to make him shocked. Old man, no matter what, you are still the head of a sect. How dare you attack the emperor so shamelessly? How shameful. There was no other way. In order to prevent Jin Ling from being threatened, Bing had to do this. Stop pretending. Lin Rei's wife is now in my hands. Tell me, what should you do? After saying this, the heaven and earth path grabbed Jin Ling's neck. In the air, he used his cultivation to remind the Xuanzong sect members, all of you, stop. Your sect leader's wife is now in my hands. Put down your weapons and I will let you go. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen to you. As he said this, the heaven and earth path's hand tightened around Jin Ling's neck. A painful expression flashed across Jin Ling's face, but she was still stunned and cried out. However, the heaven and earth path's method was still effective. Sure enough, after hearing the heaven and earth path's voice, all the Xuanzong sect disciples put down their weapons and raised their heads to look at the heaven and earth path. Their faces were filled with anger. Quick, let my mother go. Otherwise, I will kill all of you. Suddenly, Jin En, who was in the crowd, panicked when he saw his mother being captured. He rushed out of the crowd in an instant and roared at the crowd. The murderous intent in his eyes was chilling. Looking at those eyes that could devour people, everyone was stunned. Quick, 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 go back, don't worry about me. Looking at her son, Jin Ling instantly panicked. At this moment, her son stood out. He was undoubtedly treated as the target of public criticism. At the heart of the storm, it would definitely be very dangerous. This was not what she, as a mother, wanted to see. However, the more she did not want something to happen, the more it would happen. Lin Rei's son. Since this is the case, I will kill him first and let all of you know that the heaven and earth path is definitely a person who will do what he says. With a whoosh, while everyone was in a daze, a cold light flashed at the speed of light and arrived in front of Jin En's chest in an instant. Without any hesitation, it directly pierced through Jin En's body. Don't. A furious roar came out of Jin Ling's mouth. Unfortunately, it was too late. It was too late. At this moment, a hole appeared in Jin En's chest and blood slowly flowed out from it. Killed. Simple and decisive, ruthless and dignified. Everyone was dumbfounded. They did not expect the heaven and earth path to be so shameless as to use someone else's wife as a bargaining chip to win. They did not dare to agree with this. A blood-curdling scream came out from Jin Ling's mouth. Tears flowed from her eyes without any regard for her life. However, these tears were not colorless, but blood-red. Yes, it was blood. Watching her own son die in front of her and being powerless to do anything about it was such a heart-wrenching thing. B****, listen to me, stop. Lin Rei began to resist. He did not want to continue watching. He was afraid that he would return to the time of killing. Moreover, if he completely entered the illusion during the breakthrough, it would eventually give birth to inner demons. At that time, not only him, but everyone present would be killed by his inner demons. He might even go out and use the evil blood chi and the power of the remnant souls to break through to a higher level. At that time, no one would be able to control it, and it would be the end of the underworld. As he thought about it, he circulated his cultivation and skills and began to fight against the illusion. He did not want to sink into it. He was afraid that if this continued, who knew what kind of messy things would happen in the future. At that time, he was afraid that he would not be able to control this door. No, if this continued, he would only sink into it and become nourishment for the inner demons. System, quick, do you have something to suppress the illusion during the breakthrough? Helpless, he could only ask the system for help. Ding, yes. Buy it, quick, give me one. Lin Rei was really anxious. He did not even ask for the price. According to his nature, it was necessary to ask for the price in advance, but now, ding, okay. Inside the system, a shop screen flashed. A dazzling array of top-grade items flashed before his eyes. Finally, it stopped at a red pill. Ding, Spirit Guarding Pill, 50 million exchange points, can only be purchased once in a lifetime. System, are you sure you want to use it now? The system asked again to confirm. Yes, hurry up. Lin Rei urged. In this regard, the system said that it had nothing to say. It could only, ding, purchase successful. Exchange points have been deducted. The host's debt has exceeded the limit. Host, please pay off the debt as soon as possible. With a thought, the spirit guarding pill in the system instantly entered Lin Rei's mouth. As for the pill, it melted in his mouth. It was sweet and delicious. This was all Lin Rei felt now. Chapter 1382. Damn, I spent so many exchange points just to buy something like this, Lin Rei complained. 2 hours ago, he had already eaten the guardian spirit pill. However, other than the fact that it was sweet and delicious, he did not feel anything else. At this moment, he was still trapped in the illusion, unable to extricate himself. F***CK, system, can't you be a little more serious? Is it fun to trick me like this? As he grumbled, he mobilized all of his strength to protect his beer. He did not want to suffer a setback because of this. If he couldn't break through to the Earth Sage realm, then he wouldn't even have the strength to fight back after leaving this place. Thinking about the horror of the death realm, Lin Rei felt like he had been cheated. Host, please don't slander me like this. Finally, the system spoke up. Damn you. What you mean is that you can trick me, but I can't say anything about you. He rolled his eyes and gave up. What the F***CK is this? However, right at this moment, the image from the year before suddenly started to distort. Following that, a new image appeared. However, the image that appeared at this moment gave Lin Rei a feeling of unfamiliarity, yet it caused his heart to palpitate. Chuyuan Valley and Xuanzong Sect were shown on the screen. However, the scenery was gone. Instead, it was replaced by blood and corpses. A young man was half kneeling on the ground. He was supporting himself with a long spear. Blood was flowing out of his mouth. His aura was extremely weak. Yun. Looking at the young man, Lin Rei's pupils contracted. Wasn't this his son? Lin Rei did not understand why such a scene would appear in the illusion. However, what puzzled him even more was that he had never experienced such a scene before. It could even be said that such a battle had never occurred in Chuyuan Valley ever since he had come to the Saints' world. Lin Rei couldn't figure it out, but the palpitations in his heart grew stronger and stronger. This gave Lin Rei a bad premonition, as if this scene had really happened before. System, what's going on? Why do I have this illusion? The only thing that could give him an explanation now was the system. He believed that the system would know. System, silence. The system did not respond. It was like a yak entering the sea, disappearing without a trace. System, come out and tell me what's going on. Why is this happening? The system was silent. Lin Rei's heart sank. He knew that if something like this happened to the Xuanzong sect, he would return to the Xuanzong sect at all costs. Not only were his achievements there, but his wife and children were there as well. He did not want to leave behind any regrets, nor did he want to hear about the death of his wife and children. He could not accept it. He really did not want to experience it again. He swore, however, the system still did not respond. Regarding this, Lin Rei gave up. He understood that since the system did not speak, it meant that there was something fishy going on. No, this can't go on. As he thought about it, he thought about the battle generals he had summoned in the Xuanzong sect. For a moment, an idea came to his mind. Even though I don't know if you will be able to sense it from so far away, this is the only way we can do it now. As he spoke, the hovering treasure mirror appeared in his hand. Suddenly, a gray energy rushed out from the hovering treasure mirror and was instantly absorbed by Lin Rei. He absorbed it into his body and began refining it. Right now, if he wanted to break through to the Earth Saint realm faster, he could only break through with force. If he wanted to break through smoothly, he was afraid that he would not be able to make it in time. In fact, they could not afford to wait. Quick, we have to be quick this time. Regardless of whether the illusion was real or not, he could not allow it to happen. He was betting that it wasn't. A huge amount of Saint's spiritual energy appeared in Lin Rei's body. He had already reached his limit, but now, such a huge amount of uncontrollable energy had appeared. This caused his originally powerful body to be slowly eroded, and it was on the verge of collapsing. As time passed, more and more gray energy appeared in Lin Rei's body. At this moment, Lin Rei's body had already reached its limit. Because his body was too strong, it could not withstand the powerful energy's erosion. Cracks began to appear on the surface of his skin. Blood-red patterns began to appear. At first, there were only a few, but as time passed, more and more blood-red patterns appeared. In the end, his original appearance could no longer be seen. There were only purple patterns. This can't go on. If this continues, not only will I not break through, but I will also be affected by this energy. Sensing the intensity of the energy in his body and the pain coming from his body, he was no fool. Although he was anxious to save people, he couldn't joke around with his life. He knew that if he died, the Xuanzong sect would also be finished. No, no, no. Refine. Lin Rei began to use the excess energy to cleanse his body. Although this was a waste of resources, there was no other way. Now, other than using the energy to refine his body, he couldn't think of any other way to relieve the pain. Little by little, as he operated the devouring heaven spell, the excess energy in his body began to seep into his body. Lin Rei's body was already close to breaking through to the divine realm. Now, just by absorbing a little energy, there were obvious changes in his body. The original cracks on the surface of his body were slowly recovering after being washed by the energy. The original purple color on his body also began to fade until it disappeared completely. Oh, I didn't expect my blood to return to my body in the end. Lin Rei was a little surprised when he felt the energy brought by the purple blood. He knew that he had the Hongmeng's sovereign body, but he didn't expect the blood in his body to have such energy. After absorbing the energy transformed from the blood in his body seemed to have been upgraded to a higher level. He felt that he could use it more freely than before. Moreover, his strength had increased a lot. It seems that the function of my sovereign body isn't pure. Otherwise, I wouldn't have not used it all this time. When he thought about it, Lin Rei felt that he was at a disadvantage. Other people's physiques were all awesome until the end. What about his? Damn it, he was like a weakling at the beginning. He was about the same halfway through. Now that he had become a sage, he finally felt that he was a little useful. He wasn't as useless as he used to be. This brat obviously took advantage of me, but he's still acting like he's innocent. When the system heard Lin Rei's thoughts, it had an impulse to rush out and kill him. What do you mean by a weakling? It's obviously because you don't know how to use it. Damn it, you're not strong. That's because you don't know how to develop your potential. Alright, don't blame everything on other things. Of course, Lin Rei didn't know what the system was thinking. Even if he knew, he wouldn't say anything. Lin Rei had been in the system for 10 years. In these 10 years, his daily job was to cultivate, and cultivate. He persisted like this for a long time. Finally, he stopped. There was still 1% of the meridian to break through to the Earth Saint realm. As for the remaining 99%, all of them would be broken through in the next 10 years. At this moment, his body, which was originally very vigorous, had increased his battle prowess by more than 10 times. His speed had also increased to the extreme. He believed that even if he encountered an early or even middle Earth Saint realm cultivator, he wouldn't be afraid. In fact, he could even kill them with one hand. With his eyes closed, Lin Rei clenched his fists and felt the surging power in his body. He knew that this wasn't his full strength. Although his strength had increased by several folds now, if he could break through the remaining meridians, his strength would reach another level. Even a great perfection Earth Saint realm cultivator might not be a match for him. After feeling the power in his body, he closed his eyes again. This time, he wouldn't come out of seclusion until he broke through to the Earth Saint realm. Just like that, Lin Li's eyes closed once more, and his entire being entered a mysterious, profound state. Chapter 1384. Xian Domain, Lingfeng City. After Lin Linger notified Lin Yun, she began to wander around unscrupulously. Shui Yi and the others, who were secretly protecting her, felt helpless at Lin Linger's shopping prowess. From the very beginning, after leaving the Xuanzong sect, Lin Linger hadn't stopped walking. Of course, other than when she was tired or cultivating, she was always in a shopping frenzy. Shui Yi was very puzzled by this. He wanted to know how many Saint Spirit crystals Lin Linger had brought out this time. In Lingfeng City, Shui Yi had secretly asked around for Lin Linger's safety. He had to admit that the Xian domain was more than twice as strong as the Yellow domain. Let's take the cities of the two domains as a comparison. In the Yellow region, there were at most 2 saints in a city, and no more than 3 at most. However, in the Xian region, he could sense 5 Dao fruit saints on the surface, and that wasn't all. He didn't know how many there were in secret. Not only that, but the Xian domain's Saint Spirit Qi was more than 3 times denser than the Yellow domain. In terms of intensity, the two domains were simply incomparable. Lingfeng City had 3 great clans and a city lord. Among them, 2 saints belonged to the city lord's residence. As for the remaining 3, they naturally belonged to the 3 great clans. He wasn't afraid of those people. Unfortunately, as long as they weren't at the great circle of the Dao fruit realm, they would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Therefore, he was very confident that he could protect Lin Linger in Lingfeng City. Therefore, he didn't care about Lin Linger's reckless actions. As long as she didn't provoke an Earth Saint, the Qiankuan Sect, or even the Heavenly Court, it was fine. No matter how angry he was, those 2 clans had a deep grudge with the Xuanzong Sect. No, they should be angry with him. They should have a deep hatred with Lin Rei. Lin Linger knew about the hatred with the Qiankuan Sect. Back then, Lin Rei had asked her to guard the cemetery. As for the Heavenly Court, only a few people knew about it. Lin Linger, Lin Yun, and the others weren't included. On the streets of Ling Fengcheng, Lin Linger seemed to have let go of herself. From the time she was born until now, she had very little time to go out. It could almost be said that this was her first real diplomatic mission in history. Looking at the people on the streets, Lin Linger was very happy. Although she had met them on the way, she had come to the Xian domain, and it was the first city in the Xian domain. There were all kinds of spiritual herbs, magic tools, medicinal pills, talismans, and so on. What made her even more puzzled was that there were even street stalls selling cultivation techniques and battle techniques. Xiao Qin came to a roadside stall and squatted down. He scanned the books on the stall, and one of them was a combat technique called Astral Finger. Looking at this battle technique, Lin Ling frowned. She was displeased. Others might not know why, but she knew very well that this Astral Finger was the battle technique her grandfather had practiced when he was young. What happened? She turned her head and looked at the place where Shui Yi was hiding. She sent a message to him. She wanted to know why the Astral Finger was here. However, in the dark, Shui Yi was also puzzled when he saw the battle technique on the stall. However, he said, "Miss, maybe it's just the same name. Why don't you flip it over and take a look? Maybe it's fake?" As soon as he said that, Lin Ling's eyes lit up. She then nodded and reached out to grab the battle technique on the stall. "I want to see if this Astral Finger is the same as my grandfather's battle technique." At this moment, Lin Rei, who was at the critical moment of his breakthrough, naturally did not know that the name of his battle technique had become a street stall item in the Xian domain of the Holy World. Netherworld, Secluded Valley, Dragon Spring's Secret Realm, System Space. At this moment, Lin Rei's body was surrounded by golden light. It turned into strands of golden spiritual energy that were like strands of hair, revolving around Lin Rei's body. If one looked carefully, they would notice that there were faint purple spots within the golden color. Almost there, almost there. Just one more strand left. As he spoke, the saint's spiritual energy in his body suddenly recovered to its peak. Then, without hesitation, he gathered all of his spiritual energy. This time, Lin Rei was staking everything on this one throw. As the saying goes, it's success or death. Spiritual energy gathered in front of the barrier. Under his control, the spiritual energy turned into long swords in the shape of 10,000 Law's sword. They floated in the air and locked onto the barrier. This time, he wanted to break through to the Earth Saint realm in one go. This way, his strength would increase, and the Sect's strength would also increase along with him. This way, the Sect's danger would no longer exist. Think about it, with 10 great circle Earth Saint cultivators, which sect in the entire yellow domain would dare to come and cause trouble? Of course, perhaps those holy lands with a long history might have this kind of strength, but would they come back? This was something that no one knew. Success or failure depends on this one move. Holding his breath, he waited for his spiritual energy to reach its peak. Then, he controlled thousands of 10,000 Law's swords and charged towards the barrier. This momentum was unstoppable, unstoppable. Break for me. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, a spiritual energy whirlpool appeared in Lin Rei's body. In front of the barrier, the 10,000 Law's swords collided with the barrier. Hundreds of swords collided with the barrier, but in the end, they did not leave any traces. At this moment, Lin Rei was anxious. This won't do. If this continues, I'm afraid. Looking at the remaining swords, Lin Rei changed his strategy. His spiritual energy instantly covered the barrier and began to search for the weakest part of the barrier. Thus, a wise man has his own views. He did not want to blindly charge forward and end up with his head broken and bleeding. Moreover, it would be useless. Time slowly passed. Just as Lin Rei's patience was running out, suddenly, he came out of the barrier, causing Lin Rei to smile. Finally found you. Looking at the slightly weaker part of the barrier, Lin Rei did not hesitate. In an instant, he mobilized all of his swords and charged towards the weakest part of the barrier. Boom, boom. Gotcha. Suddenly, a cracking sound rang out. On the originally indestructible barrier, an undetectable crack appeared. However, Lin Rei was very happy about this. Perseverance was victory. Now that the crack had appeared, it was like taking a small step toward success. Then, Lin Rei continued to attack. His swords collided with the barrier one after another. As time passed, the holy spiritual energy in Lin Rei's body became more and more empty. As Lin Rei's spiritual energy condensed into swords gradually decreased, a loud bang rang out. Suddenly, a shocking amount of holy spiritual energy rushed in from all directions. In addition to the spiritual energy that Lin Rei already possessed, he began the process of breaking through. At this moment, the meridians in his body were broken. As long as the holy spiritual energy was completely filled, he would be able to break through to the Earth Saint realm. At this moment, he discovered that his physical body had also entered the Earth Saint realm the moment his cultivation broke through to the Earth Saint realm. It had even reached the Earth Saint realm. Chapter 1385. Time flew by like a white steed. After an unknown amount of time, Linley's meridians, which had been dry for a long time, finally received the nourishment of a large amount of water. They became extremely comfortable, giving him a very different feeling. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying pressure rushed out of Lin Rei's body and swept in all directions at a speed that could harm people. His eyes, which were originally closed, suddenly opened, and a breathtaking light flashed through them. Crack! Crack! Rising to his feet, a bone-cracking sound could be heard from within his body. Sensing the surging energy within his body, Linley had the confidence that even if a paragon of the Earth Saint realm was in front of him, he would be able to slap him to death with a single palm strike. It was not a boast, but a confidence that was unprecedented. This was the power that the breakthrough had brought him. The Xuanzong Sect, the quiet Xuanzong Sect of the past, because of the hidden threats in the past and the present, they were unable to eat or sleep in peace. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura was heard in several places in the Xuanzong Sect. At the same time, in the Xuanzong Sect of the God World, a terrifying aura was also rising. This action shook the entire God World and the area within 1,000,000 miles of Chu Yuan Valley of the Holy World. In the God World, a pressure suddenly appeared. Tendo of the God World appeared in the sky above the Xuanzong Sect and looked down at the Xuanzong Sect. Seeing the two terrifying forces in the Xuanzong Sect, he narrowed his eyes and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. This power had exceeded the limits of the God World's laws. He would not allow this threat to exist. At this moment, in the Xuanzong Sect of the God World, Bai Qi and Dian Wei were cultivating. But at this moment, the feeling of a breakthrough came again. They were very familiar with this power. They looked at each other and knew very well that this matter was definitely related to Lin Rei. Otherwise, their cultivation would not have been able to successfully break through to the Great Holy Round Bowl in such a short time. In the God realm. Oh, no, in the Saints' world, this was extremely abnormal. Moreover, when they sensed that their cultivation did not feel weak at all, they felt very relieved. In the Saints' world, due to the sudden appearance of such a harmful pressure from the Xuanzong Sect, the dozen or so sects that were originally guarding the outside world could no longer remain calm. This power had already exceeded all of their strength. Even if they all worked together, they would not be able to kill this group of people. As the sect master of the Xuanzong Sect, the moment the pressure appeared, he came to the door of Ying and Bing. He wanted to figure out what was going on. This power was obviously beyond the Dao fruit realm. If that was the case, why had no one informed him earlier? According to his knowledge, the two of them had no intention of breaking through to the Earth Saint realm. In front of the Xuanzong Sect, Elder Mu, who was originally comprehending the array formation, felt the changes in the Xuanzong Sect. His eyes were startled, and a breathtaking expression flashed across his face. What's going on? Why did so many Earth Saint Great Perfection cultivators suddenly appear in the Xuanzong Sect? This was the first time he had felt such a situation, and it was even more so the first time he had encountered such a situation. This was simply impossible. He was aware of the Xuanzong Sect's situation before. They could not do anything to a small sect that had existed for more than a decade, and even needed him to protect them. So why did so many cultivators suddenly appear in the Xuanzong Sect in such a short time? Teacher, should we report this to the Array Formation Guild? Zhu Tai asked as he approached Elder Mu. Report? Elder Mu turned his head to look at Zhu Tai and asked in confusion, "Why should we? This Xuanzong sect's matter has nothing to do with us. Just mind your own business. As for the Xuanzong sect, I'm getting more and more curious about the person who created the Xuanzong sect. To be able to set up such a powerful array, his cultivation must be heaven-defying. Moreover, even the Array Formation Guild of a first-grade city does not have such a powerful array." Hiss. He looked at his teacher with a look of disbelief in his eyes. He found it hard to believe that such a small sect could have such a powerful array master. Haha. Zhu Tai was his disciple, so he naturally understood Zhu Tai's nature. "Alright, you should cultivate properly. When the sect master returns, would like to let you cultivate with him for a period of time. Perhaps you will have a different feeling and improve." Zhu Tai was speechless. Zhu Tai did not reply, but returned to his seat and closed his eyes to cultivate. Sigh. He sighed. He understood that it was still too early to talk about this. So, within the Xuanzong sect, the oppressive aura finally disappeared. Lin Yun, who had been waiting for Ying and the ice gate, finally took a step forward and knocked on the door. "Are the two of you in?" "Yes, come in." Lin Yun tidied his robes when he heard the voice coming from the door. He pushed the door open and walked in. What entered his eyes was the two of them sitting at the top, looking at him with indifferent expressions. Looking at the two of them, Lin Yun took a step forward and cupped his hands. "Greetings, mothers." Yes, you must have felt it too. At this moment, Lin Rei was here. Apart from making a breakthrough in his cultivation, they really couldn't imagine what else he could be here for. Yes. Lin Yun nodded. "We have made a breakthrough. Not only us, but the first batch of people who followed our husband also made a breakthrough and entered the Great Round Bowl realm. I believe that this time, the sex crisis can be temporarily resolved." What? All of them made a breakthrough at the same time and entered the great circle of the Earth Saint realm? Lin Yun was shocked. He found it hard to believe that this was the truth. Once they made a breakthrough, they would be able to enter the Great Round Bowl realm. This. As a cultivator, he found it hard to believe. He believed that they could make a breakthrough into the Earth Saint realm, but this was too unbelievable. "You don't have to do this." Ying's voice rang in his ears. Lin Yun raised his head and looked at her, his eyes filled with doubt. "We are different from you. Our existence is only known to our husband. As for the specifics, we can't say anything. You only need to know that as long as our husband makes a breakthrough, our cultivation will also make a breakthrough with him. From the looks of it, our husband must have made a breakthrough into the early Earth Saint realm. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to enter the Great Round Bowl realm." When Ying said that, Lin Yun's eyes were filled with envy. As for jealousy, it was impossible. At the same time, he was shocked and proud that his father had such strength. "Alright, you can leave. As for those people outside, we will go out and deal with them. The most important thing for you now is to prepare to take over the territories of those sects and their foundations." Lin Yun understood the meaning behind her words and nodded. "Yes, your son will go and prepare. Then I will leave the matters outside to the two of you, mothers." "Okay." Lin Yun left. Looking at the tightly shut door, Ying smiled. "It looks like our husband is safe and he even obtained a great opportunity." "Yes, that's right. Since that's the case, we can rest assured. Next, we should deal with those ants." Chapter 1386. In the profound region's Lingfeng city, Lin Ling, who was standing in front of a stall, didn't know that the originally precarious situation of the profound sect had been completely reversed due to Lin Li's breakthrough. At this moment, she was holding the star finger battle technique in her hand. Familiar scenes appeared in front of her. Looking at the star finger in her hand, she, who was still hoping for a fluke, was completely defeated at this moment. There was no other reason than the fact that the combat technique in her hand was exactly the same as the one she had learned. Of course, in this combat technique, the last 3 levels were missing. Obviously, this combat technique was finished. She raised her head and looked at the stall owner in disbelief. She asked, "Boss, is this the complete version of the Star Finger battle technique? Don't tell me it's an incomplete battle technique and you're selling it as the complete version? What are you talking about?" The stall owner said directly. He was slightly unhappy. What was the meaning of this? His goods were honest. Why did it become a scammer when it came to her? Of course, he was thinking this, but his face was smiling. "Little girl, you must be joking. My goods here are the most complete in this stall. Even if the Star Finger battle technique went to other places, it would still be the same. This is the complete version of the battle technique. How about this?" Looking at a little girl like Lin Ling, the stall owner did not bargain too much. He stretched out 2 fingers and said, "Give me 20 Holy Spirit crystals and you can have the Star Finger battle technique." "You dare to ask for 20 Holy Spirit crystals, blind Wang." At this moment, the stall owner took out the Star Finger battle technique from his stall and went to Lin Ling. He added, 15 Holy Spirit crystals. "If you can, take it." "Damn, you're stealing my business." Looking at this old man, blind Wang did not expect that the usually honest old man would do such a thing. However, looking at this customer in front of him, how could he let him go so easily? 10 Holy Spirit crystals. "Take it." "Good, blind Wang, you're awesome." Seeing that he could not beat blind Wang in price, the stall owner gave him a thumbs up. He then turned and left. From the beginning to the end, Lin Ling did not say anything. Now that she had saved 10 Holy Spirit crystals, she was a little surprised. However, would she really care about this little? The answer was obviously no. He tossed out 10 Holy Spirit crystals and left with the Star Finger. "Hee, although I didn't earn much, at least I did. I didn't have to pay for it." Seeing Lin Ling leave, blind Wang chuckled and continued to drink. At this moment, Lin Ling, who had already left, looked at the Star Finger in her hand and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If Grandpa were to know that the Star Finger he cultivated was a street stall item in the mystic domain, how would he feel? She didn't have much of an impression of Lin Ray, but he was always so serious, especially when he punished her to guard the cemetery. "Blood One, how do you think Grandpa will feel after seeing this?" In the distance, Blood One froze when he heard Lin Linger's question. Thinking of Lin Ray's appearance, he shook his head helplessly. He believed that Ruo Lin knew that those Xian domains would no longer have peace. However, he had also observed that this Star Finger wasn't as exquisite as the one Lin Ray had used. In fact, it wasn't even on the same level. If they really had to compare, Lin Ray's Star Finger was the sky, while the ones here weren't even *T. Miss, where are we going next? Are we going to continue like this? He didn't answer but asked instead. Although he was very confident, what if? What if something happened? Could he bear the responsibility? What a joke, this was Lin Ray's granddaughter. If something happened to her, wouldn't he be implicated? Thinking of how terrifying Lin Ray was, he didn't want this to happen. "So, where are we going?" She looked ahead and suddenly, her eyes fell on a restaurant in the distance. Crazed Origin Restaurant. Interesting. This name is also amazing. Looking at this Crazed Origin Restaurant, Lin Linger was interested. "Let's go to Crazed Origin Restaurant." After saying that, she rushed out without waiting for Blood One's agreement. Soon, she arrived in front of Crazed Origin Restaurant. Looking at the endless stream of people coming in and out, Lin Linger was even more familiar with this place. Then, a young man who came out from the side asked, "Brother, why are there so many people here? Moreover, where did the name Crazed Origin Restaurant come from?" After hearing Lin Linger's words, no matter if they were passers-by or those who came out of Crazed Origin Restaurant, all of them focused their attention on her with strange expressions. You are. Miss, I guess you're not a local and have never been to Crazed Origin restaurant. At this time, a middle-aged woman came from the side and reached out to hold Lin Linger's hand as if they were familiar with each other. Yes. Although she wanted to ask the middle-aged woman to leave, she didn't do so out of courtesy. A smile flashed across her face as she nodded and replied, yes, I just came from another place, so I don't know much about Crazed Origin restaurant. Please enlighten me. Hearing this, the frowning crowd understood and dispersed. As for the middle-aged woman, she naturally didn't leave. No wonder. The middle-aged woman nodded and began to explain. After a long time, Lin Linger finally understood that although the name Crazed Origin restaurant didn't sound nice, the dishes and drinks inside were the best in the entire Lingfeng city. Especially the frost, it had a sweet aftertaste. It was fascinating. Lin Linger was good at everything, but she inherited Lin Rei's bad trait, which was drinking. As long as she heard there was good wine, she must drink it. When she heard that there was frost in Crazed Origin restaurant, she naturally wanted to taste it. Let's go in. Let's see if the famous Qing Shuang is as good as they say. As she spoke, her eyes locked onto Shui Yi and she said, come in with me. It's even better. Let's see if it's good or not. If it's good, make more of it and give it to Grandpa. I believe Grandpa will be very happy. Understood. Shui Yi flashed and instantly appeared beside Lin Linger. Just like that, the two of them entered Crazed Origin restaurant. As soon as they entered Crazed Origin restaurant, they could smell the fragrance that assailed their nostrils. It was light, but it made Lin Linger and Shui Yi have the urge to pour a cup of wine. Wow, this wine fragrance. Lin Linger took a deep breath and looked at the interior of the restaurant. It couldn't be considered luxurious, but it was still quite luxurious. The first floor of the restaurant was the same as the other floors. It had a large living room and a single room above. Shui Yi, go and ask for more. The most important specialty of this restaurant is the frost. Remember to make more. Yes, young miss. Blood One clasped his fist before departing, but he was feeling a little depressed inside. He was a powerful being in the divine realm and even the holy realm, yet he was now forced to serve others tea and order menus. His life was getting worse and worse. Seriously? Well, there was nothing he could do about it. He quickly followed Shui Yi to the bar counter. At this moment, a young man was sitting in front of the counter. He looked handsome and refined, but Shui Yi didn't think so. He could vaguely sense a trace of killing intent from this young man. Although it was intermittent, he, who was condensed from the blood sea, naturally had a deep understanding of it. Not simple. I didn't expect such a small restaurant to have such an existence. Unlike before, he straightened his attitude and knocked on the bar counter, saying, little brother, bring up all of your specialties and 2 jugs of Qingshuang wine. After saying that, he pointed in Lin Linger's direction and said, once it's done, just send it to that table. After saying that, he turned around and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, the young man's voice exploded in Shui Yi's ears. Who are you? You have to pay to eat here. Shui Yi turned around to face the young man and asked, you have to pay before you can eat? Brother, this is your first time here, right? The young man didn't say anything, but the old man beside him raised his head and asked. Yes, is there anything wrong with that? Shui Yi nodded. That's right. The old man said with a smile. In Crazed Origin Hall, you don't have to pay to eat, but you have to complete a task given by the boss. As for the frost wine, it's calculated according to the number of tasks you complete. As he spoke, he stroked the wine jug on the table, and a trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. For example, this wine in my hand was exchanged for by killing a bandit stronghold. As soon as he said that, everyone who was eating looked up at Shui Yi and returned to their original appearance. At this moment, he discovered that those who could sit here were basically cultivators, and there weren't many ordinary people. At this moment, he understood that this was a task for him. Thinking about it, he looked at Lin Linger's expectant expression and nodded helplessly. He looked at the young man and said, "Tell me, I need these things for you." Hearing Shui Yi's words, the young man smiled and waved his hand. Simple, simple. Then, he ordered the waiter, "Go. First, give that young lady a few specialties and a jug of frost." "Yes, young master." The waiter nodded and turned to leave. "You are from here." Seeing the young man like this, Shui Yi sized him up again. "Brother, this young master is the owner of Crazed Origin Hall, Feng Bai." "Oh, so that's how it is." Shui Yi understood. No wonder he had so much power. After all this time, it turned out that he was the owner of Crazed Origin Hall. At the same time, he understood that those things were not for free. He cupped his hands and said, "Tell me, what's the task?" He went straight to the point. He didn't like to beat around the bush like a woman. Simple. He pointed at the young man sitting in the distance and said, "Kill him, and this meal can be given to you." "What?" That's the young master of Ouyang family, Ouyang Yu." "Yes, I heard that this young master Yu has an innate sword body and has cultivated to the 5th level of the sword canon. In the future, he is very likely to become the next patriarch of Ouyang family. The owner of Crazed Origin Hall has a grudge with this young master Yu?" Everyone began to discuss. They didn't understand, and of course, they were full of fear for this matter. As for Ouyang Yu, who had been identified as a target, he looked at Feng Bai with a smile. "My good brother, this is the first time your brother is here. Is this how you treat your brother?" Boom! Like a bolt from the blue, this information exploded in everyone's mind. What the F***CK? Brother? Are they real brothers? However, the only ones who didn't react to this scene were Blood One and Lin Ling. He didn't know Ouyang Yu, nor did he know the Ouyang family. He only knew that his young mistress wanted to eat this dish, so, attack, kill him. Blood One didn't move. This scene was so laughable in the eyes of others, but Lin Ling understood that he was going to use the person in the dark. Whoosh! Just when everyone thought that Blood One had gone crazy, suddenly, the sound of the air being torn apart flashed, and a person wearing clothes similar to Blood One's appeared. Die! Blood 9 arrived in front of young Master Yu and attacked him with a combination of attacks. His cultivation was stronger than young Master Yu's, and he was born in a place that was on par with the sword body. In fact, he was dozens of times stronger than the sword body. To him, this was too fake. Bang, bang, bang. Young Master Yu was suspended in midair, and every time he was about to land, he would be punched by Blood 9 to stop him in his original position. Just like that, the end was quickly revealed. TSK, a piece of trash who accumulated pills. Blood 1 didn't need to look to know the situation. Kill him. Crack. Blood 9 exerted a little force, and young Master Yu's head tilted to the side, and he lost all signs of life. This scene left everyone dumbfounded. This was beyond their understanding. Not only them, but even Feng Bai was killed. He didn't expect Blood 1 to be so decisive, and the person who killed him was clearly not weak. He looked at Lin Ling, who was calm in the face of danger, and was very curious about the power behind her. Would she be attacked by other sects? Throw it out. Blood 9 nodded upon hearing the order. As for Blood 1, he went to the place where Ouyang Yu was sitting before, picked up the sword on the table, and pulled it out. Suddenly, the sound of a sword resonated throughout the restaurant. Good. He slowly walked over to Lin Ling, and held his hands in front of Lin Ling. Young mistress, this sword is not bad. Why don't you use it first? If there are better ones in the future, you can exchange for them. Okay. He casually took the sword and threw it on the table beside him with a disinterested look. He had seen many artifacts, and this was nothing compared to his own. However, the people around him couldn't remain calm. They knew that this was the Dong sword, one of the divine artifacts. This wastrel. Who knows the power behind this little girl? Oh my God, please keep me. Everyone began to talk, but Lin Ling didn't seem to notice the existence of others and continued to eat the food in front of her. Seeing his young mistress like this, Blood One felt very embarrassed. This embarrassment was naturally in his heart, but he was very open on the surface. However, Lin Ray wasn't here. If he was here, he would definitely take the sword in Ouyang Yu's hand and study it carefully. Perhaps he would be able to get some clues in the art of artifact forging. Chapter 1387. Since his miss was like this, Blood One couldn't say anything. He turned to Feng Bai and said, "So, are you going to bring out all the dishes and wine?" Feng Bai heard this and turned around. Seeing the coldness in Blood One's eyes, he subconsciously nodded and said, "Yes, yes, yes. I will complete the mission. I won't go back on my word." The waiter who had been waiting for a long time hurriedly left. Soon, all the dishes were placed in front of Lin Ling. Lin Ling was very happy. Finally, Feng Bai asked, "Senior, you just killed someone from the Ouyang family. Aren't you afraid that the Ouyang family will hunt you down?" As the abandoned son of the Ouyang family, he was very clear about the power of the Ouyang family. He didn't think that the person in front of him would kill someone for a table of food. This was the first time in his life that he had seen such courage. Ouyang family? This wasn't the first time he had heard this name, but was the Ouyang family really that powerful? Thinking about this, he looked at Feng Bai and said, "Since that's the case, can you tell me what the strongest person in the Ouyang family is and what kind of status they have in the mystic domain?" He was stunned, dumbfounded, and at a loss. What kind of situation was this? Did he not know about the existence of the Ouyang family? No, he must be pretending. How could anyone not know about the existence of the Ouyang family? Yes, that must be it. Feng Bai thought to himself, but his expression didn't change. He naturally had no reason to not answer Blood One's question. "Senior, the Ouyang family is located in the mystic domain. As for its status in the mystic domain, it is a second-rate family. The strongest person in the family is already at the peak of the late life realm. Moreover, the Ouyang family specializes in the sword Dao. They live for the sword Dao. You saw it just now." He pointed at the sword on Lin Ling's table and continued, "That sword came from the Ouyang family. Moreover, the Ouyang family used to be a refiner. I heard that the family also has a sword burial pool and sword washing pool. The opportunities inside are very rich. If one can enter, their cultivation might not skyrocket, but they can still break through a few small realms." However, listening to Feng Bai's explanation of the Ouyang family, the only things he heard were the experts. Peak of the late Earth Saint Realm? Thinking about the Saint Realm, Blood One, he knew that it would be a bit troublesome. Alright, these little brothers. With that, Blood One didn't dare to stay any longer. He hurriedly came before Lin Ling and bowed. "Young miss, we might be in trouble." Lin Ling was in the midst of eating when she heard this, and her hand faltered as she put down her chopsticks. She turned to Blood One and asked, "Is it because the person you just killed has a powerful background?" "Yes, the other party is from the Ouyang clan. There's a peak late Earth Saint expert in the clan." "Yes. Got it." Lin Ling felt helpless in her heart. It was just a meal, and yet someone had been killed. This made her feel a little uncomfortable in her heart. Looking at the dishes in front of him and Qing Shuang, he didn't want to leave. If he could, he would stay here for a while. Unfortunately, facing the wrath of an Earth Sage, he couldn't bear it. Even with the protection of the Blood Fiend, he couldn't bear the wrath of an Earth Sage. As such, with a wave of his hand, the table was instantly empty. Let's go. Without any hesitation, he turned around and disappeared from everyone's sight. Far away in the Ouyang clan of the central continent of the Xian region, a middle-aged man held a dim soul tablet in his hand. His eyes were filled with endless sorrow. Just a moment ago, a subordinate suddenly came to report that Ouyang Yu's soul tablet had been extinguished. This made Ouyang Shuang somewhat unable to bear it. One should know that Ouyang Yu was the child he was most proud of. In the future, she would inherit the Ouyang clan's existence. So, how could she go investigate for me? This time, no matter who it is, we must kill them at all costs. With this order, the entire Ouyang clan was shaken. After all, Ouyang Yu, who had always been the face of the Ouyang clan, had been killed. For a moment, the experts of the Ouyang clan rushed into the Xian region and began to madly search for Ouyang Yu. Regarding this, Lin Ling was currently traveling with Shui Yi. In the Xian region, the Xuanzong sect was not as peaceful as Lin Ling's place. At this moment, in front of the Xuanzong sect, there was a scene of chaos. "Ant sect, come. Weren't you very arrogant before? Didn't you think that you were invincible? Why, are you scared now?" Standing in the air, looking down at the dozens of second and third-rate sects, his eyes were filled with killing intent. At this moment, each of the sects was guarded by a great perfection Earth Saint realm expert. This gave them a surreal feeling. Why did the Yellow Region Earth Saint have so many things to do? Yang Kuan was a little confused. He roughly estimated that there were already 8 of them. How was he supposed to fight back? Although there were more than 10 sects working together, there were only 4 Earth Sages. Furthermore, none of them had reached the absolute Saint realm. There was no way they could compete. For the sake of survival, for the sake of the sect, he took a step forward, clasped hands, and said, "Cultivation base, misunderstanding, misunderstanding." Everyone, seeing the corner of Yang Kuan's mouth, everyone had a new understanding of him. Back then, he was the one who organized it. Now, he was saying that it was a misunderstanding. Naturally, Ming ignored Yang Kuan's words. He was determined to kill this group of people. As the saying goes, if you cut the weeds without removing the roots, the sound of the spring breeze will be heard. He did not have anything that could threaten the Xuanzong sect. This was a principle that Lin Rei had always understood. Therefore, facing the crowd, Ming snorted coldly, "Today, all those who besiege the Xuanzong sect will be obliterated. Sect Master, let Qin Yun lead the disciples to the encampment of these sections. Don't leave a single one alive. Lastly, let the locals know that the Xuanzong sect has taken over. From now on, all the sects here will cease to exist." As soon as these words came out, the crowd became restless. What did this mean? Was he going to obliterate all of them? Taking over? This made them very unhappy, but what could they do? In front of such a powerful cultivator, they could only swallow their anger and do nothing. Otherwise, there would only be one result for them, and that was obliteration. Lin Yun naturally understood after hearing Ming's words. He nodded and said, "Don't worry. Just now, I ordered Qin Yun to lead 10,000 Ultimate Saint Realm disciples. Among them, there are 3,000 half-saints. It's more than enough to deal with those sects." Looking at Lin Yun, everyone felt gratified. For a moment, they thought they saw Lin Rei's figure. "All right, since that's the case, let's begin. Let's kill them. No matter what, we have to deal with them." "Yes. Yes." The surrounding people quickly responded. Then, they circulated their cultivation base and formed a killing formation in an instant. Although it was not as powerful as the formation plate that Lin Yun gave them, the power of their combined forces was imaginable. Chapter 1388. Bastard, you really want to kill all of us? Aren't you afraid that the sect will be angered? Sensing the murderous aura around him and the terrifying pressure, he had no choice but to admit that the person in front of him really wanted to kill all of them. Did you really send people to our sect just now? If that was really the case, their sect would definitely be damaged. If they died here and these people went to help them, would their sect still be able to survive? Everyone, let's attack together. Otherwise, not only will we die here, even our sect might not be able to survive. As soon as Yang Kuan said that, the other 3 Earth Sage cultivators were speechless. However, they knew that Yang Kuan was right. The few of them nodded. Then, he took a step forward and released his Earth Sage cultivation. In an instant, the pressure that was pressing down on Xing Sheng was reduced by a portion. However, it was still 8 Earth Sage cultivators after all. Moreover, they were all at great perfection realm. It was already enough to reduce their bottom line. In a while, the 4 of us will try our best to hold them back. You guys take advantage of this time to leave and return to the sect. Remember, when you return to the sect, don't come out again, and don't spread this matter. After saying that, the 4 of them rushed out in all directions. They thought that they could do it, but when they actually did it, they realized that it wasn't the case. The 4 of them rushed out in all directions. However, without great perfection realm sage cultivators, how could they fight against 4 cultivators who were all at the Earth Sage round bowl? In the sky, looking at the 4 of them, he instantly understood what they were thinking. A strange smile appeared on his face. You want to help them escape? Do you think you can leave? After saying that, he raised his hand and formed hand seals. A sealing formation appeared around the battlefield. Circulatory cycle seal, go. The circulatory cycle seal formation wasn't a saint-level formation, but it was still a god-level formation. Zhu Tai's formation cultivation was much stronger. What is this? In the distance, Elder Mu and Zhu Tai, who had been watching the battle, were shocked and they saw the circulatory cycle seal formation. Zhu Tai was one of them. In his eyes, this array formation was very mysterious. However, it was nothing in Elder Mu's eyes. What shocked him the most was that this person was actually able to set up such a formation in an instant. One must know that setting up a formation required a formation core. No matter how bad it was, it would still require a formation piece. But now... taking a closer look, Zhang Xian's eyes widened in shock, as if he had thought of something unbelievable. Using one's body as the eye of the formation. If that's really the case, then... Looking at the fate scroll, he had the urge to rush up and ask for guidance. However, he understood that now was not the time. Now, the situation at the front was urgent. If he went to the scene, it would probably cause more trouble. In the end, he suppressed the impulse in his heart and obediently stayed where he was. However, things were different for the 4 Earth Saints. They stopped their charge and looked at the barrier around them. Their faces darkened as their hearts sank. This was a little different from what he had imagined. His original plan was to distract them so that Hojin would be in chaos and allow sect leader Na Xian to escape. But now, with such a strong seal around them, not to mention escaping, even they would die here in the end. They raised their heads and stared at the fate scroll who was standing in the air. Their eyes were filled with killing intent, as if they wanted to skin him alive and drink his blood. Looking at the fate scroll, one of them asked again, "Fellow Taoist, do we really have to be so ruthless?" However, the only reply he got was the fate scroll's cold eyes and expression. Ignoring the words, the fate scroll scanned the surroundings and said coldly, "Just kill them. The 4 Earth Saints will stay here. Take out their spiritual dwellings and seal them in the sect for the disciples to cultivate. This is the same for all saints." Hearing the order, Hong Lian and the others nodded their heads, agreeing with the fate scroll's decision. In their opinion, they should just kill these people. This way, they could take revenge and increase the strength of the sect's disciples. However, in the eyes of the crowd, the fate scroll looked like a demon. Is this the same as killing people for their eggs? Bastard, you're going too far. The 4 Earth Saints could not stand it anymore. This is too much. With a roar, they charged in different directions. Dead people should have the awareness of being dead, but you, sigh. Since that's the case, then, die. Having said that, the killing array was activated. The killing intent in the surroundings became denser and denser. Swords suddenly appeared in all directions, surrounding the disciples of the sect. Kill. The swords contained the cultivation of 7 to 8 Earth Saint Great Perfection Realm cultivators. One could imagine how powerful they were. Whoosh! One of the swords rushed out and arrived in front of a Hierarch Realm cultivator. Before he could react, the sword pierced through his body. With a poochie sound, the disciple died on the spot and his body went limp on the ground. This is a demon. They're all demons. Seeing this scene, the surrounding crowd could no longer remain calm. This was too fast. Not to mention them, even the 4 Earth Sages did not manage to see that sword move clearly. Everyone, prepare your defenses. The 4 Earth Saints understood the power of the swords. If they were hit, they would either die or be seriously injured. However, for those with weaker cultivation, there was no such thing as being injured. There was only death. Kill them. Without any hesitation, the swords rushed out as if they had received the order. One by one, they rushed into the battlefield uncontrollably. Whoosh! 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 Their speed was so fast that they turned into streams of light and shuttled back and forth in the air. Every time they passed through the crowd, they would take away 1 or 2 lives. In less than a minute, the number of people in the group was reduced. There were only 100 people who were still standing. The rest were lying on the ground, lifeless. Blood was flowing out of their bodies. If the previous scene was a battlefield, then the current scene could be described as hell. Bastards, all of you. Looking at the lifeless disciples lying at their feet, those sect masters were filled with regret. Regret filled their hearts. Why? Why did we listen to Yang Kuan's instigation? Why didn't we lead our disciples to their deaths? Apart from Yang Kuan, the other sect leaders were filled with regret. Only Yang Kuan's eyes were filled with hatred at this moment. Xuanzong sect, are you really going to kill us all? Yang Kuan spoke again. This time, the crowd did not agree. Instead, they took a step back as if they wanted to draw a line between them. Who do you think you are? You. I have the Langius sacred ground behind me. If you dare to kill me, the Langius sacred ground will not let you go. Even your Xuanzong sect will receive retribution. You better think carefully. Threat, this is a blatant threat. Why don't you take a look at the situation? Langius sacred ground? Chapter 1389. Yes, it's the Langius sacred ground. I am an inner disciple of the Langius sacred ground. If you dare to attack me, the Langius sacred ground will not let you and the entire Xuanzong sect off. Seeing that Ming Ming was hesitating, the fear in Yang Kuan's eyes gradually disappeared. What replaced it was an endless phenomenon. It was completely different from before. However, when the crowd saw this scene, they wanted to draw a clear line between themselves and Yang Kuan. But now, they hesitated again. They felt that they had done the right thing. Unfortunately, none of them noticed that there was no fear in the eyes of the surrounding Earth Saints of the Xuanzong sect. They were just disdainful, as if the Langius sacred ground was nothing in their eyes. How is it? Can you let us go now? I can put in a good word for you in the Langius sacred ground, as long as you let me and my disciples go. The sect leaders and disciples of the other sects looked at Yang Kuan with gratitude, as if he was their savior. They were very respectful. However, this was nothing in the eyes of Ming Ming and the others. It was just bringing them closer to death. However, Ming Ming was interested. He sat in the air and looked down at Yang Kuan and the others. A hint of panic flashed in his eyes. He said, "You are an inner disciple of the Langius sacred ground, but as far as I know, you have violated the rules of the sect. Or, you are not an inner disciple of the Langius sacred ground. This is just a way for you to survive." This seems like it. There is indeed such a rule in the sect association. Do you think that sect leader Yang Kuan will really? Yes, if that's the case, won't we offend the Xuanzong sect and the Langius sacred ground if we continue to follow him? Sigh. That's right, but what can we do? There is no other way now. Yes, now we can only take one step at a time. The crowd's discussion did not stop. All the words fell into the ears of Yang Kuan and Ming Ming. Yang Kuan's face turned pale as he looked at the people around him. He gritted his teeth and looked at them. He wanted to remember all of their faces. After this matter was over, he wanted to get back at them one by one. He wanted to let these fence-sitters know the price of doubting him. In Ming's eyes, this scene was extremely laughable. He was no longer in the mood to continue playing with them. Rising to his feet, he unleashed the full power of an Earth Sage Great Perfection Realm Cultivator. This time, he had no idea what would happen. As for the Langius sacred ground that Yang Kuan spoke of, he was certain that as long as Xia Feng returned, the Langius sacred ground would be nothing but trash. Are you going back on your word? Feeling the stare of death, Yang Kuan panicked. This was different from what he had imagined. He thought that as long as he brought out his backer, he would definitely be able to leave this place safely. But now, it didn't seem to be the case at all. Going back on my word? Ming laughed. He felt that Yang Kuan was here to make fun of him. But this was no longer important. Kill them. Everyone, let's tell the people of the Yellow region that our Xuanzong sect is not to be bullied. Our sect leader is not to be humiliated. As for the Langius sacred ground, if they dare to offend us, we will destroy their sect. As soon as he said that, everyone was shocked. Not only Yang Kuan and the rest, even Old Mu and Zhu Tai who were watching from afar were dumbfounded. They knew that the Langius sacred ground was a powerful existence in the Yellow region. Although it wasn't the absolute ruler, it was still an existence that could make the entire Yellow region tremble with a stomp of its foot. But now, someone actually dared to do this. Teacher, how arrogant must this person be to say such a thing? Previously, he didn't dare to come out because of a bunch of second-rate and third-rate sections. But now, he's acting like this. His gaze was fixed on Ming as he spoke. This is not something we can interfere with. Moreover, he turned his head and looked at his disciple. He smiled and said, "Are you sure that this person is just talking nonsense? Have you forgotten about the strong opportunity to break through and the powerful devouring power?" Teacher, you mean? He seemed to have thought of something. Shoo, let's not interfere in this matter. Let's just watch. As for the Xuanzong sect, that's their problem. Remember, the Formation Guild will not participate in the fight between sections. So, continue to cultivate. After saying that, he turned around and sat down again. Now, the outcome was already decided. With so many Earth Sage Great Perfection Great Circle cultivators, Yang Kuan and the rest would only have one ending, death. Looking at his teacher's back, Zhu Tai pursed his lips. Still not participating? I don't know who it was that posted you in front of the Xuanzong sect. If it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have allowed the Xuanzong sect to grow. Zhu Tai only said this in his heart. As for his face, he still maintained a smile and his gaze did not leave the scene. As for Old Mu's words, he had already forgotten about it. With the order, everyone in the field began to move. The formation was activated. Sword light soared into the sky, aiming at the hundreds of people in the formation and began to kill. This was a massacre that left the other side helpless. Yang Kuan and the rest were like lambs waiting on the chopping board. They could only wait passively and could not take the initiative to attack. Ah! Ah! The blood-curdling screams continued one after another without stopping. This scene completely resounded in the ears of Yang Kuan and the other sect leaders and grand elders. Regarding this, they could only defend against the long swords and soaring sword chi that were rushing towards them. As for helping the disciples of their sects, this was impossible. The formation was activated. Although it was a sword, it was more accurate to say that it was a sword. Brat, the Langyas sacred ground will not let you go. You are making a joke of the entire Xuanzong sect. Aren't you afraid that your sect leader will be angry? Yang Kuan threatened. He was unwilling to give up. He wanted to make a final struggle. Oh, is that so? Suddenly, a cold voice rang in everyone's ears. It was a woman's voice. This voice made Yang Kuan and the rest break out in cold sweat. However, when Ming and the rest heard this voice, their faces lit up. Are you sure that the Langyas sacred ground can destroy the Xuanzong sect? The voice rang again. At this moment, everyone had found the person who spoke. In the distance, a red figure appeared. It was a woman in red clothes. However, because her face was covered in red sand, her appearance couldn't be seen clearly. However, just her figure alone was enough to prove that this woman was one of the best in the world. Senior CFO. You are back. With Ming taking the lead, the rest of the people bowed to CFO. They were very respectful and did not look as indifferent as before. Yang Kuan and the others also saw this scene. When they looked at the evil phoenix, their pupils shrank. They could sense danger from this person, as if he was a demon from the abyss. Just his aura alone was enough to devour them. You are? Although his obedience was enough to prove her identity, he could not help but ask this question in the face of Xia Feng's terrifying existence. At this moment, everyone present looked at Xia Feng. Not only that, but all the monsters in the entire Chuyuan mountain range felt Xia Feng's arrival. All the monsters prostrated themselves on the ground and kowtowed as if Xia Feng was their king. They were in awe of her. This is an expert. At least, she is stronger than me. Elder Mu had woken up. He looked at Xia Feng and said subconsciously, Teacher, are you sure? Zhu Tai could not help but ask as he looked at Elder Mu. He did not expect that his teacher would say such a thing. Others might not know, but he knew very well that his teacher's cultivation was very strong. If that was the case, how strong was this woman's cultivation? Under everyone's gaze, the evil phoenix slowly walked over to Ming and nodded. I didn't expect that you would have reached the great circle of the Earth Saint realm. It seems that you didn't slack off after Linli left. Xia Feng was shocked by the cultivation of Ming and the rest. Although she did not show it on the surface, she was shocked to the extreme. What kind of operation was this? How long had he left? Now, these people were almost catching up to her. Although she did not mind, she was still a little jealous. Senior, you must be joking. Ming smiled. Facing this person, even Lin Rei did not dare to say anything, let alone them. Even if they had the power to ignore the first and second-rate sects in the Yellow region, they still did not dare to be presumptuous in front of Xia Feng. He raised his head and pointed at the people below. Senior, we have no choice but to disturb you this time. This group of people came to attack us. I heard that one of them is an inner disciple of the Langyas sacred ground. Look, the Langyas sacred ground, Langyas sacred ground? Seeing that Ming did not continue, Xia Feng frowned. She had heard of this sacred ground before. However, it did not have a good reputation. Therefore, she was not familiar with this sacred ground. Senior, is there any difficulty? Ming asked again. Previously, he said that he was not afraid. After all, the other party was powerful and he could not say anything. Yang Fan is a coward. It's fine. He's just an inner disciple. Even if you make all the inner disciples in the sacred ground stupid, he won't dare to say anything. Don't worry and do it boldly. Although Lin Rei is not here, with me around, the Xuanzong sect will exist forever. No one can touch it. I said so. Mingyu's words made her stand clear. Her words made Yang Kuan feel even more hopeless. Just by the fact that Mingyu addressed the Holy Lord of the Langya sacred ground directly, one could tell who was stronger and who was weaker. Yes, I understand. This time, Mingyu did not have to worry about the consequences. They began to kill the people below. After all, this was the decision they had made previously. The final massacre began. This time, they did not show any mercy. However, they had to kill those who should be killed so that they could provide energy for the inner disciples of the sacred ground. Throughout the process, Xia Feng watched the massacre with the attitude of a bystander. Her face was calm and there was not the slightest ripple. Time passed quickly. With Mingyu and the others' cultivation, they could have finished the massacre quickly. However, in order to obtain the energy in their bodies, they spent some time. Xia Feng did not have any opinion about this. On the contrary, she felt sorry for their actions. After all, Lin Rei had always advocated the principle of wasting and shameful things. Below, corpses were everywhere and blood flowed like a river. This time, all the sects that came here were wiped out. The crisis of the sects was finally over. Of course, except for the Langya sacred ground. Swoosh! Suddenly, a scorching heat wave appeared. A flame instantly appeared on the Azura battlefield below. In just an instant, the scene of blood flowing like a river and corpses strewn all over the ground disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by a patch of grass that had just begun to grow. 5 minutes later, the originally bare ground disappeared and was replaced by a lush green lawn. Mingyu and the others were shocked and they saw this scene. Although they could do the same after becoming sages, compared to Xia Feng's methods, they were obviously inferior. Senior, you have had a long journey. Go in and rest. Mingyu gestured for her to enter. No need. Xia Feng shook her head and continued, since you are here, I might as well give you a hand. Senior, you mean? Let's go to those people's sections. Didn't that brat Lin Rei want the Xuanzong sect to make a name for themselves in the holy world? This is such a good opportunity. Of course, we have to seize it. Mingyu understood Xia Feng's meaning. He had the same idea at first, but when he thought of her cultivation and status, he did not bring it up. Now, it seemed that he had been rash. If that's the case, let's go. She looked at the sages below and said, you two will be in groups of 2. Go to the other sects and gather with their disciples. Remember, kill without mercy. Take back all the resources of those sects and replenish the sects. Yes. Go. Whoosh. Whoosh. In the next moment, the sages who received the mission left quickly and led the crowd away. Xia Feng led Mingyu and rushed towards the east. The massacre ended just like that, and the reshuffling of the cards in the yellow region began. After this battle, everyone in the yellow region knew about the existence of the Xuanzong sect. Some people even knew that there were many earth sages in the Xuanzong sect, and there might even be heavenly sages. This was enough to make the Xuanzong sect a first-rate sect in the yellow region, and it could even compete with the Holy Lands. The main reason was Xia Feng's existence. Lin Rei, who was in the underworld, did not know about this situation. He also did not know about the grand occasion that his breakthrough had brought to the Xuanzong sect. At this moment, after he had completely stabilized his cultivation, he walked out of the system. The illusory spirit blood fire had a suppressive effect on heroic souls. Under the control of Lin Rei's earth sage cultivation, the heroic souls and remnant souls that had injured him before were instantly devoured by the illusory spirit blood fire as soon as they came in contact with the illusory spirit blood fire. They were turned into nutrients and became part of the illusory spirit blood fire. At this moment, Lin Rei could clearly feel that the power of the illusory spirit blood fire was increasing continuously, and there seemed to be signs of a breakthrough. System. The illusory spirit blood fire can still break through? Feeling the change in the illusory spirit blood fire, Lin Rei did not leave and asked. This had never happened before. Yes, of course. The system's answer left Lin Ray speechless. After all this time, the illusory spirit blood fire actually had a level. This was the first time he knew about it since he had obtained it. At the same time, he was looking forward to seeing what level the illusory spirit blood fire would reach after its breakthrough. Chapter 1390. After knowing that the illusory spirit blood fire could be upgraded, Lin Ray did not stay any longer and rushed towards the depths of the realm of death. Now, Lin Ray did not want to go deeper for the things in the secret realm. At this moment, he wanted to upgrade the illusory spirit blood fire to the next level. Previously, the system gave a message that the little dragon could absorb a small amount of remnant souls through the illusory spirit blood fire to awaken the soul power. This made Lin Ray even more excited. Facing the little dragon, he felt very guilty. There was not a moment when he did not want to help the little dragon collect heavenly treasures that could awaken the little dragon. This way, being able to awaken the little dragon through the illusory spirit blood fire would undoubtedly help Lin Ray make up for the guilt in his heart. Along the way, Lin Ray collected a lot of heavenly treasures. This made him certain that as long as he refined them into pills and arrays, the cultivation of the Sect's disciples would increase to an unimaginable level. However, the scene of the 10,000 Sect's coming tide would no longer be a dream. Have I reached the end? Lin Ray did not know how long he had been walking. He saw that the original path had disappeared. There was only a dark wall that was very hard, similar to a crystal. Bang! Gathering all the strength in his body, he aimed at the wall. Suddenly, a muffled sound was heard. Lin Ray's body was pushed back a few meters by the rebounding force of the wall. However, the place where Lin Ray attacked previously did not have any traces left. Looking at the dark wall, Lin Ray was stunned. Lin Ray did not dare to say that he could recognize everything in the world. However, he had never seen this thing before. Moreover, the hardness of this thing was not inferior to the walls in the system space. Of course, this was only his opinion. If the system knew that Lin Ray compared the system space with this dark wall, it would be interesting. Clang clang. Unwilling to give up, Lin Ray used the Chaos Dragon Spear in the end. However, the result was the same as before. There was no effect at all. He did not even leave a white mark. This time, Lin Ray had the urge to vomit blood. Cause trouble. Thinking about the difficulties he had encountered before, and how he had almost died in the face of death, he was unwilling to stop here, and he could not do it. Ding! Yes! A familiar voice appeared in Lin Ray's mind. The originally worried expression on Lin Ray's face was replaced with a puzzled expression. At this moment, there was only one reason for the system to issue a notification. As he thought about it, a smile appeared on his face, and his expression became serious. Ding! Discovered a huge amount of energy that can upgrade the system. Initial estimates suggest that this energy can upgrade the system to the king stage. Host, would you like to absorb it? Ding! A huge amount of energy has been discovered. Does the host agree to undergo a passive upgrade after the energy absorption is complete? Ding! A huge amount of energy has been discovered. The system is upgrading the realm and will be temporarily sealed. No matter what the host encounters during the upgrade process, the host will not receive any help from the system. Does the host wish to upgrade? One system notification after another rang out in Linley's mind. He understood what the system was trying to say, but he was determined to upgrade the system. Nothing could delay the upgrade of the system. Previously, he had always thought that the system only had levels 1 to 5. Now that he knew, he naturally had to continue upgrading it. That's right, system. Suddenly, he thought of something and continued, System, you said that the system only had 5 levels. Then there was the king stage. Are there any levels after the king stage? Also, where did you come from? Why did you absorb this energy? How are the cultivation levels divided in your world? Compared to the holy world, which one? Stop, stop, stop. Before Lin Ray could continue, the system stopped him. What the hell are you thinking about? Lin Ray, I told you before that you don't have enough authority. Why can't you remember anything? F***ck, Lin Ray was speechless. The last thing he wanted to hear in his life was that he didn't have enough authority. Ever since he got the system, he had always been told that he didn't have enough authority. This made many things that he wanted to know stop because of this sentence. Host, what you should do now is to increase your own strength and increase the strength of your sect in the future. You have probably forgotten that the system wants you to become the sect leader of a powerful sect. Isn't the reason why this powerful sect is created for you to increase the strength of your sect? Look at the current Xuanzong sect. Previously, it was almost destroyed because of a few second-rate sections. If you didn't increase your cultivation level, those generals would have broken through to the great circle of the Earth Sage realm. Do you think your Xuanzong sect would still exist? Host, don't bite off more than you can chew. Let me remind you that when the system is upgraded to the king stage, your cultivation level will be bound to the system. At that time, the problem of your cultivation level breaking through will be solved. Moreover, when the time comes, the Xuanzong sect will be completely opened and become a real sect in the name of the system. At that time, the sect will be completely bound to the system. All the disciples in the sect who are loyal to the sect will be able to teleport to the host's side at any time. Host, I hope that you can use this opportunity to strengthen the sect completely. At this moment, Lin Ray was overjoyed. Was this considered a disclosure in advance? However, this made Lin Ray understand the meaning of the system's words. In short, the Xuanzong sect was currently very weak and was not enough to become a sect in the name of the system. After the system broke through to the king stage, it would be bound to the Xuanzong sect. As for the teleportation of the disciples of the sect, looking at the dangerous situation where the Grim Reaper could come at any time, he instantly understood the meaning of the system's last sentence. Lin Ray couldn't help but nod. His heart was full of cultivation. Indeed, since the establishment of the sect, he had always been in a state of being a hands-off shopkeeper. He had always been in a state of being in charge of the sect. Thinking of this, Lin Ray felt extremely guilty. I understand. You can upgrade now. This time, this place will become the place where all the disciples of the Xuanzong sect can train and upgrade. This time, the Xuanzong sect will be upgraded to a higher level because of this place. At that time, our Xuanzong sect will have no disciples below the saint stage. His expression was serious, and his words were precious. However, if these words were heard by the people of the holy world, they would probably gang up on Lin Ray and beat him up. If all the members of a sect were at the saint realm, would it still be considered an ordinary sect? Moreover, you only think about upgrading. You don't even know if the Tendo of the holy world will agree to your arrival. Of course, he didn't care about these things, and he wouldn't care. He believed that since the system allowed him to upgrade the realm of the disciples of the sect, it would naturally have a way to deal with the Tendo. Okay, you can continue with your work. The system is about to undergo a closed breakthrough. During this period of time, properly plan the system's attitude towards the Xuanzong sect after the upgrade, as well as the problems of the sect's construction. At that time, the Xuanzong sect will become the true Emperorian Xuanzong sect, and not just a sect with a reputation but no strength. Okay, I should take advantage of this period of time to make arrangements here. When the disciples of the Xuanzong sect arrive, I can't let them have it easy. A smile appeared on his face. If the disciples of the Xuanzong sect were here and saw this smile, they would rather fight with the demonic beasts. They were very clear about this sect leader's character. How could he let you have it easy? He had to put in some effort. After that, the system didn't say anything else. Lin Ray didn't say anything about it. However, at this time, he felt that something was missing. He couldn't pinpoint it, but he felt that something was wrong. I can only fight by myself in the future. He laughed at himself, turned around, and disappeared into the darkness. Holy World, Chuyuan Valley. At this moment, the Xuanzong sect of Chuyuan Valley had a new atmosphere. It was completely different from the decadent and declining appearance from before. At this moment, the disciples of the sect were shuttling back and forth in the sect, as if they were looking for something. Did you find it? No. Damn, then what should we do? This senior Siafeng is really something. Ever since she came back, she disappeared. We can't find her no matter how hard we try. Where can she go? Who knows? Senior Siafeng's cultivation is so strong. Why, is the sect leader afraid that she's gone missing? Sigh, isn't that right? It turned out that after returning from the other sects, Siafeng disappeared from the Xuanzong sect. No matter how hard they tried to find her, they couldn't find her. Even after mobilizing the entire sect's strength, they still couldn't find her. However, at this moment in the underworld, Lin Rei, who was in the death realm, had finished setting up all the formations. At this moment, Lin Rei encountered a problem. Illusion? Lin Rei felt a little helpless. This secret realm had appeared many times, but every time, Lin Rei couldn't bear to dissipate it because he missed Jean Ling so much that he couldn't bear to dispel it. He wanted to see Jean Ling more. He couldn't bear to let go just like that. Perhaps it was because of his persistence, but there was no other way. Nothing would hurt him for the rest of his life. You're right. Originally, I didn't want to find my memories and just live here for the rest of my life, but they forced you onto the path of killing again because of some small matter. You were very disappointed. Originally, you wanted to use your actions to integrate with them, but they didn't give you a chance, right? Hearing old man Jin's words, Lin Rei couldn't help but nod. He admired him very much. Old man Jin could see what he was thinking at a glance, but they, sigh. All of this is because of their ignorance. They don't understand your painstaking efforts. Since that's the case, then let's go along with their wishes as soon as possible. Anyway, you don't feel very comfortable here, do you? Hee, old man Jean knows me well. You're right. After I woke up, I was very resistant to this feeling in my heart. Later, I moved out, but I still couldn't avoid the path I should have taken. Well, sometimes, you don't have to change your path. You just have to let nature take its course. Everything else isn't important. Just be yourself. With that, old man Jean stood up and took out the clothes that he had taken off from his body from the wooden box beside him. For a moment, Lin Yu was stunned because the appearance of these clothes was completely different from what old man Jean had said. At this moment, Lin Rei saw that it was very extravagant. There was no trace of blood. Instead, it was quite gorgeous. This is the clothes you wore when you fell from a high altitude. At that time, it was indeed stained with blood. However, after listening to it for a few days, the blood on it disappeared bit by bit. Before I knew it, the blood had disappeared. Hearing old man Jin's words, Lin Rei nodded and walked out of the door. Old man, you, give this to Ling, Take it as a gift for taking care of me. Although the gift isn't very expensive, I did put in a lot of effort. Lin Yu stopped at the door and threw the snow fox skin to old man Jean. Then, he walked out without looking back. Sigh. He's also infatuated. I really don't know if I should let them be together or not. At this moment, old man Jean couldn't make up his mind about the snow fox skin in his hand. Cough, 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 cough. Grandfather, just when old man Jean couldn't make up his mind, it was as if the heavens had made a decision for him. Come in. It just so happens that I have something to tell you. It just so happens that you're here now. Looking at Jean Ling at the door, old man Jean directly sat on the bed. Jean Ling had already arrived in front of old man Jean. However, Jean Ling was a little weak at this moment. What? What's wrong, grandfather? Jean Ling spoke. Her voice was very weak. When she saw the tender look on her face, it really made one's heart ache. Yes, here. Lin Yu just asked me to give this to you. He said that it's a gift for taking care of him. Old man Jean, who had already made up his mind, took out the snow fox skin and directly handed it to Jean Ling. What? He was here? Hearing her grandfather's words, Jean Ling's body trembled. She wanted to chase outside, but when she thought of the fact that there was still a relative sitting in front of her, Jean Ling finally held back. Sigh. Go. Go after him. Maybe he hasn't gone far yet. Since the heavens have made a decision for you, then I'm just going against the heavens by stopping him. As he spoke, tears fell from old man Jin's eyes. However, one of his hands kept chasing Jean Ling out. He didn't want his granddaughter to lose the lover she should have had. Woo-woo. I know. I know, grandfather. After saying that, Jean Ling knelt on the ground and bid farewell to old man Jean. She turned around and chased out while shouting Lin Yu's current name. Lin Yu, wait for me. At this moment, Jean Ling didn't look sick at all. She vigorously chased after Lin Yu, who had already gone far away, and kept shouting. When Lin Yu, who was walking in front, heard someone calling her name from behind, she thought it was an illusion. However, when she really heard someone calling her name, and it was the person she had been thinking about, Lin Yu turned her head and saw that Jean Ling was chasing after her with all her might. Suddenly, Jean Ling, who was almost in front of her, was tripped by something. When she was about to fall, Lin Yu's eyes were sharp and his hands were quick. He rushed forward and hugged Jean Ling in his arms. Ling don't be like this. I will protect you. Even if something happens to grandfather, I will protect you for the rest of my life. He couldn't help but reach out to hug her in his arms. Unfortunately, everything was in vain. This was just the environment. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.